Hello and welcome to EFAP Mini Super Chat Catch-Up for episode... Well, you know what? Why give it a number? It's the Ultimate Showdown, which I somehow managed to let slip through our respective catch-up fingers. But here it is. It's back, and we're gonna get all the Super Chats done for this episode that you sent in, and we're gonna probably talk a little bit about, fictional characters fighting each other, because that's fun. It's a
Hooray!
quintessentially nerdy thing to do. And we'll see what messages may have been delivered during the time. Clarifications about, would certain people truly have won? Who can say? Who can know? But yeah, I mean, there was complications that arose, as one would expect. Funnily enough, the first one is, it says, time to prove with facts that Ezio beats Alex Mercer. So... You guys, do you remember that reference, Fringy or Rags? Where that's come from?
Oh,
I don't know.
It sounds familiar. That sounds familiar, but I can't remember its origin.
It's got to be from, because those games came out the same year, so it has to be related to that.
I'd explain my motivation for this has been long-term because a website that I was quite fond of hosted a big sort of leadership board, a leaderboard of like which characters fighting each other and who would win and stuff. And I'd mentioned one of the more interesting battles that happened was Master Chief versus Big Daddy. The conversations about how that would work and who would win, depending on what things made it a fun conversation. But one of them was Alex Mercer versus Ezio de Torre, and Ezio won like slam dunk. And I was just sitting there like, because I was like, I don't care about Alex Mercer, but come on, like, what the fuck? And it's like, well,
Ezio's a guy. He's a skilled guy.
He's such a talented assassin, That's how talented he is. You're like, okay, whatever.
I mean, he's pretty talented, but kind of
talented.
No, that one is absurd. How is Ezio even going to be able to account for the fact that this is all like technology that is not from the Renaissance?
He's fighting a magical demon from the future. Okay.
Alex Mercer was so OP that he should have just like slaughtered the whole set in that.
He would end
website.
up really, yeah. He would end up pretty high in terms of his competitiveness.
Which is funny because the way that we did it, he would have been probably in the heavyweight class, but I'm not even sure how high. Like he would probably get killed pretty quickly. The heavyweights.
He wouldn't get far in the heavyweight class, but he would probably be in it just because the midweight is like. Because, like, Master Chief, I think, was in, like, midweight.
Yeah, Samus, Master Chief, Big Daddy would be in.
Yeah, exactly. And then at that point, then it's like, well, he's got to be in the heavyweight then. But he loses in the heavyweight.
Yeah, because lightweight you get Mr. Bean and Kermit,
Yeah, lightweight's like regular people. Yeah, and Kermit is not to be underestimated. But,
no.
But,
not at all.
That was how we figured it out. So, yeah, he probably wouldn't have made it very far anyway. I don't think he was in our list, was he?
Who? Alex Mercer?
Oh, he might have been.
I don't remember. I honestly, it's hard to remember. This was very difficult to put together, and I think when I was done with it, I was like, I am done with it. If you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
We had Gromit versus Rich from RLM.
Which of course Gromit wins.
Gromit would dominate. It wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
But Gromit would, want to do it.
He wouldn't want to, but if he has to,
he had to
save Wallace.
So I think we can all agree that Gwimbly bodies them all. Yeah, that's probably fair. He would score pretty well.
He would do pretty well.
Gwimbly.
No, Metal, fortify your mind. Might have been ill
mind.
or something. I don't know. So how much research was made? For example, if you took a comic character, do you track them from the movies or did you check the canon comic line? It was literally just the collective knowledge of, and with Google searches. It is impossible for us to do.
Already really funny though.
Like,
like how much research did you do? It's like, do you know how much work went into it in the first place?
To get it to where it was took ages. Like the idea that I'm actually going to get everybody a fucking link to every description of every power for every character from every lore. It's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right.
Besides, I don't even, I think it's fun to go off of like the memory and experience of all these different people in the cast at the same time, and then every once in a while, if we truly didn't know, we could abstain from the vote, or we could give it to chat, which we did give to chat a few of them, because Some of them got very tough to figure out, you know. So, the Dawn solos everybody. No one would want to kill the Dawn, that's why he would win. They would jump off the platform like Final Destination. Important question, does Batman have prep time in round 2 technically and definitely 3? Round 1 Batman would just essentially be Bruce Wayne. Does he get I don't think he even gets the suit, right?
We had it that you don't have any. Yeah, the way that it was level 1 is like no equipment, level 2 is like what they would normally have, and level 3 would be the best of what's available like in their canon.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to understand it is it would be Master Chief without his suit, and then Master Chief with a suit, and like a assault rifle, a couple of grenades, and then level 3 would be like with access to everything that the UNSC has to offer.
Yes, which it was funny. Depending on who you're matching up here, would like, 1 or 3 would actually change in terms of which is more complicated.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like someone like Steve, because Steve was funny. No matter what he's at, he's basically at level 3. Because all he needs is his fists, and he can, he's already able to access anything that he wants.
Especially knowing Jack Black's iteration of Steve, unstoppable, you know?
Oh, yes, that's true. That would be, we'd have to reformat if we ever did it again to have that Steve.
He would be in the ultra heavyweight, you know? Just unstoppable.
Definitely ultra heavyweight.
Look up an image of Rayman Origins Bean platform. Look at those happy little fellas. Rayman Origins Bean platform. I think this has been asked before.
Probably because Rayman Origins has a very fun art style.
Because they got faces and stuff, right?
Lots of stuff has faces. Yeah, in Rayman Origins.
I don't know if this is what
a pair of beans.
Yeah.
A single bean. A bean couple.
Yeah, I think that's them. It's a really cool art style. I enjoy it a lot. It's a shame that we'll never get any more ever
Does Team
again.
17 do Rayman?
Well, the new Rayman games were made by, I think it was like, oh damn, it's gonna drive me crazy. It was a company. It was like a studio within Ubisoft. They created like a tool set and kind of like a framework for making the Rayman games. But again, there will be no more because Rayman Legends and Origins both didn't do that well. Even though I assumed that they weren't super high budget, they'd be more high budget than like the only 2D games that have 2D platformers that would have higher budgets probably than them are like Nintendo games. 2D platformers seem to be now strictly an indie game thing, which really is lame. Well, no, it's good because a lot of those indie platformers are good, but it's lame that like AAA industry seems to not be interested at all in making 2D platformers. Especially since it's such like a pure sort of genre in terms of video games. Lots of the best games ever made are 2D platformers. But you will get no more from anybody except Nintendo forever. and the indie market. Again, obviously excluding the indie market, because in the indie market there is an abundance of 2D platformers, lots of really cool ones.
Yeah,
Shovel Knight is
Super
great.
Meat Boy,
Shovel Knight is
Celeste,
super good.
Shovel Knight,
Celeste is really good.
Terraria.
Gunpoint
is a game I still recommend to people to play. That's a cool short little indie game that I really like.
Which one's Gunpoint? Is that where you have to burst into rooms, or is that when you're like stealthy detective? I know it's one of those.
You're like a detective, and it's a 2D game, and you can you have to avoid cameras and rewire stuff and avoid guards. I really love that game. It's super awesome.
Oh. Sash Lilac Bodies Classic Sonic. That's my hot take. Who's Sash Lilac?
Sash.
Is that a Sonic character?
Sash Lilac Sonic?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, I'll post a picture.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Apparently-
Sash Lilac.
Apparently, she bodies
Is that a
Sonic.
Sonic character?
Oh wait, I don't. pretend. Oh no, it's the Sonic. How come there's so many? Oh, is this a sex thing that they're just paired up a lot?
Mm,
From Avalis Archives.
no idea.
Is the main protagonist of the Freedom Planet series.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Neither have I, even though we're all expert Sonic fans. It's just one of the gaps in knowledge, you know?
Yeah, I guess
Sonic
this has
the
nothing to
Hedgehog
do with
4 is
Sonic.
that'll be the Amy will be in that one. So that's
My God.
Amy. Everybody's really excited for Amy. Everybody likes Amy, don't they?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
the pink one with her red dress.
She is the pink one, yeah, with the big mallet. And then
Great.
she will use that mallet to hit Shadow if he. Well, no, Shadow is reformed. He's a good guy now.
He had his redemption arc.
He did, yeah.
That's
Mhm.
good.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
That's good. That's good.
Can't believe some random anime character won the whole thing. Well, you're wrong, kiddo. It was... What was it
It
called?
was
Unicron.
Yeah, that's Transformers. That is Hasbro.
They won it out. Even though the chat were given the vote at the end, and they did choose the Boogie was the ultimate winner, so... Yeah.
You know what? Boogie, more than ever, he needs a win. Okay.
Truly. Come, Mola, hurry up, finish all the cyber chats this episode. You'll have more by next anniversary. Oh, that's funny. Well, so people will be listening to this a little sooner than our backlog, but by the time you are listening to this on upload day, we will have about 20 plus, if not more, Super Chat catch-ups recorded that are just going to all be scheduled, I guess, and you'll just see them coming out. We will eventually catch up, like, in terms of, I'll probably put out 2 per week here and there, maybe if they're shorter ones or something, but the important thing will be that we've actually done them, because we've truly almost caught up. By the time you're listening to this, we may very well have. On the live episode, we might just inform that. So it's been going strong, but I don't think they'll all come out before the next anniversary episode comes out. So it's all going to be strange, but you'll get everything eventually, including plenty of awesome new things that are on the way.
Yeah.
Also, you objectively sell out Star Trek TMP is the best. TMP? Star Trek TMP.
What is that?
The
Menace Phantom?
Don't know, but fair enough. You know what? It's your opinion, that's fine.
We're not real fans. We don't know.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Fleamish massives. Farewell and adieu, you massives of Fleam. Well, thank you. Farewell to you.
Yeah, thanks, and farewell.
A sub since 2018 with Bell. Still never had a notification. Tried resubbing, but still no. For the thing-like entries, look up Chandra from Mistborn. Oh, is that like an
Andra
alien
from
creature?
Mistborn?
So, like the thing.
Apparently, yeah. I've not played Mistborn or don't really know much
anything
about it.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Each of you say the Ghoulies line. Us cowpokes, we take it as it is. What has it? Oh, as it comes. Optional one makes the soundtrack. For exactly
You have to say like a cowboy?
I guess you can choose. There's no rules on this, but I'll post it so you can see it and then do whatever you want.
All right. Us cowpokes, we takes it as it comes.
Us cowpokes, we take it as we comes.
As we comes.
We take it
Yeah.
as we come.
Beautiful. I'm a whistleblower from Fringy's Goo Factory. I don't have much time before they find me. The secret ingredient in the goo is... and it got cut off.
Oh
You
my
don't
goodness
exist.
gracious.
You're
It's
made up.
terrible. They stopped him before he had time to say the ingredient, but not before he could hit enter. Oh no.
I guess that's just how it goes, you know.
That's really
sometimes.
unfortunate.
Like he
Right
was
between them,
dragged and he accidentally hit the enter button as he was, you know. it's
Tried
like,
to hit more
you know,
letters.
yeah. You have Fleamish
Did they
hands.
did they not even get a letter or two for the secret ingredient that we might be able to find out?
Nothing really.
Not even
no.
a single one. Wow.
And besides, you can't
Made up.
trust those letters. Maybe they're a scramble, you know, like he's hitting the keyboard accidentally, so it might lead us the wrong direction. Very careful with that.
It could.
You have Fleamish hands, Mr. Massive. You've been counting grumbos all your life. I know that reference. Yeah. Yeah, so what's interesting is I can see what fights we're having while these messages are coming in, and the current one is Sam Fisher versus Garrus. Is that right, Garrus from?
Garrus from Mass Effect.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The thing
well,
is it's kind of an interesting matchup because
it is.
the main one would be the tech. How is the tech? Does Garrus
Yes, it
have
would be
tech
the
that
tech
can essentially
difference.
hard counter anything that Sam Fisher tries in terms of stealth tactics? It's like, well,
But does
possibly,
Garrus even know Sam
probably.
Fisher's coming? That's the thing. But if they both
Yeah,
knew that and to be aware of each other, remember, I mean, Garrus is he's a tough guy in his own right, and he had a
well,
stint
he's
as
a Turian.
Archangel. So,
Yeah, and he's a Turian, which I think we're meant to conclude that Turians are broadly stronger than humans.
are we? Is there anything that lends to that in the
They're-
series?
I that's always the impression I've just gotten based on like the way that they look,
They don't
is
look.
that they're
They
like
don't look.
stronger. I don't
No, they
mean
don't
like
look
dramatically
stronger to
stronger.
me.
I don't mean dramatically stronger when I say that. Not like how Krogans are obviously much
Oh
stronger
yeah.
than everybody else. I could be wrong on that though. It could be that we essentially treat them as equivalent to humans. But yeah, you're essentially pairing up two hyper well trained special forces. It's just that one of them has access to sci-fi tech, and the other one kind of does anyway. You
A
know,
little
some of
bit,
the
but
tech
it's like
is
it's near future
but
sci-fi
near
versus like
future. Yeah,
obviously far in the future
and of
sci-fi
course,
masses. Yeah,
something that the problem is once we get to number 3, Garrus wins because he gets the Normandy, which is a hard counter to anything that like Earth could muster in
yeah. The
terms of
Normandy wins,
because if you
and
said
most
like, oh,
advanced
Sam
tech
Fisher can get
he has
access
like
to nukes or
shields
something,
and all kinds of
that's right.
space
And
equipment.
Sam Fisher, how's he gonna be able to? I guess he can give it a shot, but it'd be a tough one to try and breach his shields and not be seen and sniped. You have to sneak up on him. That's a
Mhm.
tough one,
Yep,
I think.
they're similar sort of archetype kinds of characters, just from different times, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, we obviously maybe that wasn't anticipated properly, but we had something like 150 matchups or something, and that was just the ones at level 1, so to speak, right? Like they all move on to the next tier. So some of them were kind of easy, but some of them took so long it was like, uh-oh, we're already at like an hour in
Yeah.
and we've done 5.
So then we had to institute more of a rule of
Yes,
not
we had
spending.
like 5 minutes to decide, I think, per. Because yeah, you get lots of interesting matchups. You really do. Jar Jar wins all. Was he in this? Did I include Jar Jar?
I can't
Well,
remember.
he's a tragic hero.
Oh, I was gonna say it might be
So
unfair to include him because obviously he'd dominate a little too hard. So gotta give everyone a chance, you know. Otherwise, it doesn't. It's not as interesting. Careful. You know, I was thinking to myself, I would love if we got another Captain America where he was actually fighting the Red Skull in World War II. Nope. That's not gonna happen. Keep on wishful thinking. Procrastination versus you Dumbos playing DDLC. Fight. Well,
we win.
yeah. It's already over. How dare you all for using the N-word with the hard R around Fringy? Nor is his word. You can say no.
No.
It's also offensive to Shad. Well, you know what? We're offensive. You really are Fleamish Massives. A double Biden? Oh, I think we may have had a double Biden, and Rags wasn't even on that episode. Isn't that crazy? Maybe that's
Interesting.
why. He was sending your psychic
Biden
energy.
Yeah, Biden moments are not dependent on my presence.
True. I'll be so mad if Jimmy Carter isn't on here.
Lord of the Wikipedia.
Look up the villain Mr. Dark from Rayman. He's a childhood favorite of mine. I've always loved his design, especially in the Game Boy Color version. Let's look at that version.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I might once I see him.
He's got like the hat, right? Yeah. Oh, I put wrong. Yeah, I should probably put Rayman would help, I guess. Yeah, this guy. Please work with the paste.
Oh, he looks dark.
He's cool looking.
He's got a cage. Who's in the cage? Is it frogs?
It's assorted innocent creatures. But yes, you have to free
So they
them.
could be
I
frogs.
forget what their names are, but yeah.
I hope
He is
you
cool.
kids free him. He does look dark. He does like Mr. Dark. What? He's got two little things hanging off his hat. Little balls, little yellow balls.
Gotta get him. There's power source or
Get those
something.
balls.
Uh,
Maybe those are spare eyes.
Yeah, maybe.
Pops him in if he loses his originals.
YouTube seems to have added an option to like and comment on super chats, but of course no dislike option. They really can't help themselves. Yeah. I mean, them for you. Fisher is a low rent Batman. Get the fuck out.
Whoa, that's not true.
Damn. Hating on Sam. You. Vader is Jar Jar's bitch. Yeah, but like I said, wouldn't want to put Jar Jar in just to have him dominate the whole thing, you know?
Yeah,
Just a quick reminder, Samus is a starbuster.
What does that mean?
Does that mean she can shoot the sun and break it?
I mean, power levels can get pretty crazy with Samus, to be sure. I mean, Metroid Dread, she's firing a massive fucking cannon. Like, that is, like, insanely powerful. The thing is that, like, the Metroid world is, white. There's a lot of stuff, right? Like, all of the Chozo, creations are quite powerful. So when you combine those
games, I guess, too.
Well, all of that would be because the suit that's from the Chozo. It's like there's a lot of you're essentially dealing with kind of the easiest way would be to think like she has ready access to like Forerunner level kind of technology that she can like wield directly. Maybe even more so than that in terms of like how advanced they were.
Are we talking Forerunner from the game technology or Forerunner from the show technology?
Oh, I'm not talking about fuck the show. I'm talking the only point I'm making is that she has access to essentially technology from like a long lost, incredibly advanced civilization that she can like that she uniquely is able to wield compared to like the technology of the Galactic Federation.
And you like the Chozo a lot because they're birds.
They are birds. They're neat, and they help Samus become, they helped her become a warrior. They're very, they're birds. They're birds. They're space birds. Space birds are fun.
Yeah. Right. So funnily enough, when you open the super chat comment section, they try to sell you a super chat. That doesn't surprise me. Super. Gotta get these systems up and running. Encourage everybody to do everything. Like I said, they when you start a stream and stuff, it gives you like notifications of now would be a good time to put ads in. Like, it's okay. Thank you.
Did you know that putting in ads makes us happy?
Yeah. At peak power is straight up invulnerable to damage. I don't know who they're talking about. That's all they said. And at peak power, the current fight, which it can't be these two, is James Bond versus Chris Redfield.
Well, Chris Redfield unfortunately wins. As much as you might want James Bond to.
I don't know about that.
Does he?
I don't think so.
Does he obviously
Chris
win?
Redfield is
yeah.
In level 1, Chris Redfield wins, right?
Well, yeah, but we got 2 and 3 for Bond to be able to make a comeback.
That's true, but I mean, it's also worth bearing in mind that Chris himself would also have access to a lot of crazy tech as well.
He would. Bond is pretty fucking good. Like,
I feel like Bond's skills are pretty good. He's more the espionage side, so we can get the drop on Chris.
Do you think James Bond could beat Wesker?
well, if Chris
Listen,
can,
what happened
yes.
with Wesker was insane. Okay,
I was about to say, like, the
defeating
of Wesker is just insanity.
That took a lot. Like a lot of moving parts had to come together to defeat Wesker, including the helicopter, RPGs, a volcano.
Yeah,
like,
you're
it's
implying
all
he beat
just-
Wesker with like raw strength or something.
All of the things that had to come together to defeat Wesker, both people have access to. James Bond has access to RPGs, helicopters, and I guess a volcano that's just around.
I guess a volcano.
Yeah.
In a way, we all have access to volcanoes. It's just, you just don't expect it to happen. How far out from where they were, did they find that volcano? Like, how many? Is that something you could find out in real life, whether or not that was even remotely close? Where they were?
I don't know.
Because I assume that was just something they randomly put in, because they were like, you know what? They're going to need a volcano to beat this guy.
So yeah, volcano right here.
Which, you know,
There it
not
is.
wrong. Volcano's
They
a
just
really
happened to
cool
crash.
word, by the way, for what that is.
Volcano. Yeah, I
Good for
think
them.
so.
They chose a good one. My money is on Link. His entire thing is punching above his weight class. Full load includes an infinite number of infinitely powerful wishes. Fair, but I still don't think you'd ever expect Link could go against, like, Dr. Manhattan, Cthulhu, or
No way.
Unicron. It's going to be a tough one for him, but you know what? Best of luck, Link. The Doctor versus Rick Sanchez. My money's on the Doctor. I think we talked about that one for a while. It's that's a tough one.
Probably, I would guess Rick Sanchez.
Well, so the reason why it's tough is because of the time machines. It's it gets
Yeah.
super complicated on how the fuck that's gonna work. The double repeat of Super Chat catch-up shows just how Fleamish and massive you fellas really are. Take your meds. I'm gay. Sure.
Oh well,
All right. Yeah,
congratulations,
done.
man.
Yeah, good stuff.
On that and
Rags' Snow versus Fringy's Goo. Final destination. Well, we'll have to run the
Final
simulations.
Destination.
Dun,
I
dun.
don't know why we're pitting them against each other.
And they should cooperate.
I think they could. We could have snow goo. They could combine forces, and
Oh,
and
no.
goo could sprinkle in from the sky, and it'd be cold and wonderful. And the children would go out and play in the goo and make goo men and goo angels and throw goo balls at each other.
Is Snow Goo the ice elemental version of Grogu?
I would like to turn Grogu into goo or paste,
Or
I
freeze him?
suppose. Or just freeze him. But I'd like to freeze him, but with all the real life implications that come with freezing a person, not like the happy like, oh, we're putting them on pause. No. He's gonna die horribly.
Hope my boy Frank Horrigan is on here. Well, a lot of people who'd think would be on there did not make it. For that, I apologize. How far are you taking personality into this? Like, Bond's a suave player. Could he talk and manipulate people around Chris or similar? It's taken in, but let's be honest, like, Bond's not going to be able to charm Chris into not killing him. Like, that's not going to happen, I don't think. We've all seen enough of both of them to know that's probably not going to work. But it's not, like, discounted as something that would probably play into the battle if needs be. Depends on the character and who they're fighting and stuff. Popple the Shadow Thief is one of my favorite Mario characters. Look the boy up, he's great. Alright. Got so many different...
Popple the Shadow Thief.
Yeah.
Steals people's shadows.
Oh, we've seen this guy on here before. Definitely a fringy pleasing character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's his very toothy grin. It's
He enjoys what he does.
He loves what he does. Yeah.
He loves stealing. That's it. Shadows,
Wait,
particularly.
does he steal shadows, or is he just a shadowy regular thief?
Obviously, he steals.
thief
There's
of-
shadows in that sack. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I guess it's if you looked inside that sack, we wouldn't
lot
see
of
anything 'cause
shadows.
it's just shadow.
He's doing his job well. Let's conclude. Will the ultimate orgy of homosexuality be next? Yeah, you know, it's getting cooked
I
up.
think so. Yeah, for Gay Pride Month, we'll do a special on it.
The Don versus Fat Geralt. The Don, easily. Fat Geralt would relinquish any sense of threat to the Don. He would worship him. But he is a hard guy to defeat, to be fair. Thanks, gents, for making this world a better place and making those bathroom visits in my house longer and more enjoyable when watching while on the can. No problem. We are toilet content. Yeah. Steve can hold that relic that brings you back to life. You're saying Captain Price might not be able to defeat him, huh?
Steve from Minecraft? Oh boy, I don't think that he's got a chance. I
Nah.
don't think Price has a
No,
chance.
Pri-
we concluded pretty quick that Steve was
The
in the
totem
wrong
of
weight class.
Steve is in the
Steve
wrong
is
weight
insane.
class.
He's got the totem
He
of
is in
undying.
ultra heavyweight tier.
Yeah.
New South Park special, yay! I'm not sure which one this would have been, but we're expecting more South Park soon enough, right?
Yes, soon. Soon, the next
Hmm.
season.
How does respawning factor into this? It's complicated. It's not like any base game aspect of respawning, like checkpoints, say for like a Sam Fisher or Captain Price, is not applicable. However, in-game universe mechanics. So, for example, even God of War,
Like the totem of undying for
like that,
Steve.
or resurrection stones in God of War would count. There's a couple of like time devices that we have to count as well, which makes a lot of characters super OP. So it's all dependent on what their respective, fiction has. One of my new favorite Smiling Friends scenes is the man with the specifically shaped nose. The guy who needs the
guy whose nose is like a thing that he can use
like a
as
key.
a replacement for replacement for
Who ends up in hell.
Yes, he does. Anyway, so we back to so demons grab him and drag him back.
The caves are Steve's domain. Price has to stay above ground and utilize range. The thing is, for every second that passes, Price's chances lower.
Yeah, that's the problem. Steve just amasses more power.
When Steve is when Steve has his netherite armor and his shield which blocks projectiles, and he's carrying around all kinds of shit, and he's got his elytra wings, and he has his totems of undying, and all of his tools, and a bow of his own, and like enchanted, like it's just
as soon as they spawn in, it's level 2 and 3 is the problem, because as soon as he spawns, Steve digs down and covers the floor above him, so Price will never fucking find him.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Even if he did,
could you fire off a shot?
Could you imagine being Captain Price and finding this enormous series of tunnels, the danger of trying to traverse them, and then Steve at any point can just like basically meld into the ground whenever he wants to escape you or attack you with an ambush? You're fucked.
Steve sounds like terrifying.
He is terrifying.
The implications of his abilities. Yeah.
Reminder, based on the scaling units of Minecraft, Steve is around 2 meters tall, and each block he breaks is around 1 meter. Yeah, but that's the other thing. Steve is super strong.
His carrying capacity is ludicrous. It's absurd.
If they got into a physical fight, that's the thing about round 1 we weren't even sure about, I think, right? Because it's like, well, Price wouldn't have his guns, so not even a knife. So Steve's gonna punch him.
Steve just goes up and he just punches the shit out of him.
And then he would just turn into a block of flesh or something.
He just poofs and whatever Captain Price drops.
Was rewatching your Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League stream, and the fact Lois Lane mourns Batman but not Superman was kind of fucked up. She didn't even not acknowledge the others. Yeah, because that was slapdash throw on the end. I'm pretty sure that was recorded post the game's like completion, because wasn't it put behind like a screenshot or something? It was clearly like, whoops, we probably should have put more in, because that what a horrendous game. Oof. Glad it failed. Clearly the cast isn't aware of Minecraft Steve's power scaling. Dude can carry literal mountains in his pants and still jump a meter in the air. Yeah, I didn't know that. I assume he scales so hard that.
Well, you know it now because you watched the Minecraft movie.
Oh,
so
of
now
course.
now you know about what Steve is truly capable of.
Hi, I'm game actor Michael Douglas. I like it in the back because I'm gay. All right.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, man. So next one another one we had was CJ versus the man with no name, which CJ's going to dominate in rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah, the problem is round 2 and 3, CJ gets access to insane weapons compared to good
Someone
old
said
Clint Eastwood.
CJ can spawn waves of Grove Street families.
Well, I don't know if again, it's meant to be in universe. What can he do? Like, he can't.
We tried to limit as well calling
right?
in people, because the Avengers was becoming a problem of like, oh yeah, Iron Man calls in all the Avengers. It's like you can't do that.
Well, in modern Marvel, they're not allowed to call in each other when they need them, so that's
It would be more so the idea that, like, in round 3, CJ spawns with a tank, because that's like the best that he can acquire, right? Meanwhile, the best that Clint Eastwood can get is not really any more than what he has.
Got a gun.
Yeah.
You know,
He's good with it.
Yes,
He's really
he's
good
good
with it.
with it,
but
yeah.
It is a gun.
Mhm.
He'd have to shoot like a bullet into the barrel of the
Well,
tank and have it
again, it's another thing
ricochet
of
or
just
some silly.
think about all the crazy stuff because I think someone would maybe just be inclined to say, yeah, but like look at what all he accomplishes. Like that's true. Look at what CJ accomplishes. Like CJ pulls off some insane feats in San Andreas. He gets up to a lot, and he's really good at hand-to-hand combat as well. So just them fighting each other face to face is already something that's kind of like, you know, it's hard to say who would actually win that fight.
Why are we talking about Nathan Drake? EFAP 300 is coming out. And it came, and it went. Yeah, we had Indiana Jones versus Nathan Drake.
And yeah, Nathan Drake is much more powerful, essentially, than Indiana
Which
Jones.
is an inevitability, considering it's a game versus a movie, but
Yeah,
he was also
Hey,
getting
Indiana
the
Jones
advantage
is a
because...
game now. Pretty cool in that.
That's such a good fucking game. But yeah, also the fact that they are very similar, obviously, because they're
they're similar archetypes.
Yeah, but
obviously,
Drake
but,
is just
Nathan's
younger.
more cold-blooded,
And that too, yeah.
And then of course, even then, it's like with their base loadout, he already wins because his weapons are way better, right from the get-go.
That's true. From a more modern era.
Mhm.
Making Rayman have a cocaine addiction and Captain Laserhawk was exactly what we wanted. Ubisoft rolls eyes, laughs to self. Captain
Yeah, we got a
Laserhawk.
hot cow out of it though.
What was that? What is that?
I don't know.
Let me get you
I mean,
it was like a show on what was it like?
So what was it? A
Netflix-
show where Rayman was like a loser, basically.
It's like Laserhawk, Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix.
A Blood Dragon remix. Okay. They should
I
have
don't
just
know
made a
too-
Blood Dragon game. I don't know why they didn't. I actually truly don't understand why Ubisoft didn't make a Blood Dragon game. It's like one of the coolest things they made, and they just
Yeah.
never did anything with it ever again.
Hey, Rags, I'd be curious your opinion actually on one of the matchups we have in here is Frank Drebin versus Austin Powers. Who would win?
I mean, it's probably Austin Powers because he's got all the gadgets and stuff, and he technically does time travel.
He does have time travel.
But I think that I think Austin Powers would win. He's got all the secret agent stuff.
The thing is, I think most people would agree is like you can't really kill Frank Drebin in Naked Gun. It's like impossible.
No,
But
the universe contorts to protect him.
to an extent, that's the same for Austin because obviously that's
true.
definitely inspired by Naked Gun as well. So, but I think yeah, the extra gadgets adds to it. But it's a funny matchup for sure. Battle of the Day: Seviper versus Zangoose and Trisapphire. The fuck are those two? Okay, well,
That's a Pokemon, Seviper and Zangoose, right?
who wins?
I think we talked about this before because one's like a snake and one's like a mongoose, and they're mortal enemies.
Okay. Oh, is there like lore that they hate each other too?
I don't know if there's in-game lore that they hate each other. Maybe there is, but I think it's a playoff of like one's a snake and one's a mongoose, and in our world they like fight each other.
Well, that's why I was asking. Because
Actually, it says Seviper shares a generations-long feud with Zangoose.
There you go.
The scars on its body are evidence of vicious battles. This Pokemon attacks using its sword-edged tail. Here, let me give you the pictures. This is Zangoose. Or sorry, this is Seviper.
He
And
looks
this-
happy.
And this is Zangoose, who does not look happy.
Yeah, see, I find him kind of a little bit boring, whereas
He's
the snake
okay, but
got a little
I like the
happy.
snake.
His goofy grin is what sells it for me.
Yeah.
I wonder, does Is a Viper? Does he evolve from anything, or does he
I
come
think he
from anything
evolves
else?
into something. Doesn't he evolve into like a cobra looking thing?
I know there's uh Ekans and Arbok from Generation 1, but I don't know if well, what does it say?
I think he does evolve into like a cobra.
Let me find it. It doesn't say, which means I guess it isn't here. I think it is what it is. It doesn't say that it
Oh, okay. All right.
evolution. Maybe I'll find it up specifically. It doesn't evolve. Yeah. It is what it is. So Viper is just he's doing his thing.
Alrighty then. I have the original Vice City and San Andreas on my phone. Good stuff. Never deleting them out of fear. Play them every day. Why not? The amount of people Nathan has killed in all 4 games. Probably a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but he can't beat Nadine for some reason. Dude, he beat
No.
like it is. I love that. Like he can't beat her even when it's 2-on-1. And even though it's an interactive part of the game, you're just made to lose. Meanwhile, like Nathan Drake beat beat oh my god, I can't believe oh my god.
Frank
Oh,
Drebin?
He beat God?
Lazarovich. No,
Oh.
Lazarovich, because I don't know why I was thinking of Dragovich, but he's from Black Ops. Lazarovich. He beat him after he'd literally like drank immunity floop tree sap. He beat him, but he couldn't beat Nadine. It's like, get out of here. Come on.
Is that like the Oh, is that like the goop from the Boonta tree in Star Wars Acolyte?
No, it's like it's sap from the tree of life. And
Oh shit, that
Lazarovich
sounds
drinks
really
it.
good.
And Nate beats him, and it's not easy. And it's like he can beat him, but he can't beat Nadine. Like even when he's got someone else helping him in the fight, every time you punch, you miss. You're made to miss. It's really annoying. It's not fun to play when you're just fighting everybody else. You actually have control, but then when you fight her, you just are made to miss and lose. It's like really lame. It's I think like creating like force loss scenarios in games is something you got to be really careful with, because it can be incredibly annoying when you're
Yeah.
forced to lose.
Yeah, there needs to be you need to be able to like win in the fight that then creates like a narrative trigger for something to happen that maybe like delays or forces a second interaction, or the other person has to retreat, or you beat the person but somebody else shows up at the end, or it turns out they were only buying time, something, instead of just you lose now because the story demands it, which is lame. Which is
It
lame.
is lame.
It can be that ludonarrative dissonance coming in when you don't have a real reason why I can't just beat this person like I beat the 7,000 henchmen and all
But
the
yeah,
monsters
it's
and
particularly
stuff I
bad
fought
if
to
you
get
have
here.
an enormous arena where you beat like 20 people, and then 3 people turn up with a gun on you in a cutscene, and you're like, oh, this will be easy. And the game's like, damn it, they got
Nah,
me. It's like, what?
that's yeah. Uncharted's got that problem where it's just like, nope, you lose now. Like, nah, sorry.
Nathan's body count tends to be 400 per game, or around that. Yeah, fair, you know, killing a bunch of
Yeah,
people.
it's a lot
400? That's not that many, actually. Video game considered. That's
per game though. So you add it all up, that's like,
Yeah, I think that's
and
a decent amount
if
for
you
his
include the
campaigns.
PlayStation Vita game as well, Golden Abyss, that's like 2,000. That's 2,000
Yeah, we're not
people.
talking like, you know, a fucking twin stick shooter where there's just constant enemies. This is
I guess that's true.
Uncharted.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, how many people does Isaac Clarke kill on the Ishimura? Because
A lot.
Probably not as many, but as Nathan Drake, but it would be pretty high. I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 100.
there's a
Wait.
video, Dead Space 2023 kill count, because there's about 1,000 people on the Ishimura, I think. So apart from because there wouldn't be any more. Well, there could be additions to that. Anyone who came up from the planet, which I think some of them made it on board, and anyone on the Valiant, and I don't know how many people were on the Valiant, but they were their own specific types. But this post was deleted by the person who. Well, it's just total number of necromorphs Isaac kills, and then they deleted it from what the fuck? I would be curious. Oh well, something to look up later for myself, I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be good knowledge to have, I suppose. Always remember, some suspension of disbelief is required for all media. You should meet media at least halfway in terms, or else. Second after this. Or else it will be considered bad?
I think you've like got it a bit confused in terms of it. Like suspension of disbelief is not a conscious thing. You're like when your suspension of disbelief snaps, that's like an involuntary thing. You don't make the conscious decision like, oh fuck, you know what? I choose not to take this seriously anymore. It's like something happens and then you go, okay, and you're done. Like everybody entering into any story is essentially providing something in terms of their willingness to accept what they are presented with. But, you know, to that end, it is essentially the responsibility of the writer to take that trust and lead the viewer or the reader or the player to exciting and interesting places through, you know, consistent storytelling. Like, the idea that, like, you as the viewer have to go out of your way to essentially help the writer out, it's like, well, that's like, silly. That's not really how it works. People are naturally willing to give a lot of leeway anyway. Like, people don't tend to have a problem accepting, like, science fiction, fantasy, any sort of, like, concepts like those, which are already sort of having to fight a bit of an uphill battle because they're relying on things that don't really exist, but people don't have a problem with that. Like, basically nobody does. I would say nobody does. Even somebody who says they don't have a preference for fantasy, it's like, yeah, but they might like The Lion King or something. They might like, you know, like Aladdin. So I would say that everybody is just willing to provide a lot of leeway in terms of, like, crazy ideas, but essentially respect their intelligence and their time. And then you won't run into any problems rather than saying, guys, you got to give me a bit more leeway here, all right? It's just, I don't know. That's like an unreasonable expectation to impose on viewers.
It just depends on what's being referenced here. Because if you take, for example, if you had someone who says, like, God, I hate Ratchet and Clank, and you're like, well, why? And you go, because it's just like the talking animals shit, like, that's just never going to happen. And you'd be like, okay, what? You know, like, and if you describe that as you're not meeting it on its, I would just be like, that's just stupid. Like, but okay, you know, whatever, I guess. But if someone said, like, I just couldn't get into it, it all seemed, you know, like, and they didn't even give a proper reason, I guess, it would still be kind of like, eh. But yeah, like I said, it just need to be more specific on what you mean exactly when you say we have to meet it halfway. I meet art full way. I jump in and I'm like, here we go. What have we got? Let's see. Oh. Holy shit, the Ultimate Showdown pin hit me hard with nostalgia, sent me back in time for a minute. Yep. Good song. Mickey Mouse gets the Death Star. That's meta.
That is meta, yeah.
Book John or Show John, because Book John isn't that amazing a warrior yet. Well, what I came to find out is we had King Arthur versus Jon Snow, and a lot of people felt like there was a lack of knowledge on King Arthur, which is fair. I don't know a lot of, like, the thing is, there's lots of different versions of him, and when I say lots, I mean there might be more versions of him than most of every character ever. I don't even know. Like, there's so many iterations of King Arthur. It's like, what exactly are his agreed upon power level is complicated, but yeah, fair enough. Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executing power derives from a mandate from the masses. And yet he still uses that to beat Jon Snow pretty handily. Been rewatching the OG EFAPs on episode 23 now. Love you guys a lot. Always excited to catch a live one. Well, there are plenty more on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Have none of you read The Once and Future King? Oh, read.
I have.
Yeah. Besides,
Good book, by the way. I would recommend it. It is a good book.
have none of you seen Guy Ritchie's King Arthur? Shouldn't that be where we draw his power level from?
Legend of the Sword.
The movie that no one likes. Rumor says that Anthony Mackie repeatedly asked unprompted for a romance with Black Widow. Bro was down bad. And you blame him? He's just trying to
I mean, hey, man.
facilitate some fun storylines. You know, you miss every shot you don't take. That's what they say.
That could be done awkwardly, though. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if,
Oh, yeah.
Falcon got a romance with Black Widow? No,
Wouldn't it be really
wouldn't
meaningful?
that be fun?
Be the best
I'm just
decision
saying.
for the story, yeah.
That would be cool if, I think it might be interesting narratively if that happened, if you did. I'm just saying.
In my opinion, you should allow people/connections, but only who they could reasonably have on call. That's you have to go binary on this, because who can be is it reasonable for Iron Man to call in Captain America? And it's like, well, yeah, of course it is. And it's like, okay, who else can he reasonably call? And then who can Captain America call? And it just cascades. And besides, that defeats the point of the question then, because if you bring in so many other people, it's not a fight of Iron Man versus other person. And that goes for a lot of stuff. The only time I think there'd be exceptions is when, say, for example, it's like a sorcerer character who can summon an army. Like, that's a part of their power set. It would be like, well, that's kind of fair. But take, for example, if you had Aragorn and someone said, oh, yeah, you can use the army of the dead. It's like, well, that's probably not fair. It kind of defeats the question, I'd say. Because, it's not like this has any bearing on quality of writing at all. It's just about each of the writers and how they wrote the power levels for each of these characters, and just entertaining in your mind a fun little battle and seeing what would happen. Just being a part of an organization doesn't necessarily get them to fight for you, but being the leader will. Connections are power. Probably not, though. It kind of ruins the whole fight, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Fappers, I like y'all. Here's a McMuffin. Well, thank you.
Ooh, thanks, man.
Because,
I love me a good McMuffin.
Pretty much every single battle between any two superheroes, especially when you compare, like, if it were a DC hero versus a Marvel one, just like, well, it's the whole pantheon. They're all in now, everybody, because it would eventually spread enough that everyone's got a connection to somebody. And then every single fight would just be that army versus that army, who wins? And then you just go to whoever the most powerful character in the universe is, and can they wipe out all the others? Does Mickey Mouse get his army of brooms? This is Mickey Mouse versus Bugs Bunny. Which
Mickey Mouse gets a lot of stuff, depending on... I don't know if the Army of Brooms would be considered his normal level, though. That would be definitely...
I think it was
like
still decided Bugs won that.
Bugs Bunny breaks reality. I think we
had to disqualify him and Steve.
Yeah.
Because it was just too difficult to box them into anything reasonable. Mickey Mouse has never hit anyone in his cartoons. Yeah? So? That doesn't mean we can't try to push him into a place where he's going to have to use some of these abilities.
Mouse has definitely hurt people.
Maybe never killed. I mean, same for Bugs probably, but that doesn't...
Unless they have
Probably.
the acid, from Roger Rabbit, you're right, yeah.
Mickey's power level isn't something I expected to hear today. Yeah, well, you gotta figure it all out.
And I'm not familiar with the Epic Mickey games, so I don't know what's going on there.
It's got a magical paintbrush.
Can paint you into hell.
Oh my goodness.
In a Mickey vs. Bugs fight, Mickey has access to any magic spell present within the Final Fantasy universe, including Stopsa. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Alright, fair enough. We gotta disqualify slapstick toon characters. They're immortal and cannot die. Depends. Depends on what fiction we're talking about here.
Depends on how funny the death would be.
Because technically, toon physics is complicated as like a... Take, for example, The Simpsons. Not really a show that has toon physics, but sometimes they kind of delve into it a little.
Sometimes.
Characters, like think of the Gorge. It's like Homer probably should have died. But,
Yeah.
According to one of the old shorts, Mickey Mouse fought in World War II and has military training. I
bet a lot of the characters do, like Donald Duck and all those other videos they made of training videos. They've seen some shit, okay? They fought the Germans And the Japanese, they know how to operate machinery. All right.
I was gonna say, look at this matchup we got here. I wonder what you would think, Rags. Who wins? Homer Simpson or Ronald McDonald?
I don't know enough about Ronald McDonald other than apparently he has a squad automatic weapon and plenty of ammunition there in that image. And Homer has a donut. Not even an entire donut, actually. I don't know enough about Ronald McDonald's power level. I would
He
assume
probably
that
does
Ronald
have
McDonald,
some. Did we Google
I
it?
think
Does he
Ronald
have
would-
some kind of crazy powers or something?
I think we did. Yeah.
like
think he
the
probably
like,
does.
can he call in his shadow friend? The
Oh,
fucking
the shadow guy. Yeah.
I think Ronald McDonald probably wins because Homer's not bright, and he doesn't have military training. Not that I would expect Ronald to, but I feel like Ronald is. I mean, he's the head of a cutthroat mega corporation that creates like food adjacent products.
Yeah.
He's probably smarter than.
I could believe we went
uh,
with Ronald. That's probably what.
Yeah, I think Ronald would probably win. Homer's a lover, not a fighter, you know?
He's done his fair share of fighting. Remember, he was a boxer professionally. Whole episode. He got right to the top. He got beaten the fuck out by Dredrick Tatum, which.
But then Mo saved him and then used to. Do you remember the fan guy running out to yell?
Yeah.
Like, oh, give me that
Yeah, because Mo
contraption!"
just uses it to just go wander off, basically.
Go to go and just travel the world.
Does he say,
and,
I
like,
need some
help
time to
people.
think or something?
Yeah, to like reflect on life, and then you just see him going around the world saving people, helping him out.
So, Mr. Bean versus Kermit is the context for this. Isn't Kermit useless without someone to control him?
No, we didn't conclude that. We concluded that we had to treat him as like a.
Well, that's
Like,
like saying
being
all the
used-
animated characters can't do anything because they need someone to draw them.
Yeah. All of the live action characters have to be acted, or all the video game characters have to be programmed.
Yeah, that's not fair. So, no, Kermit had all the abilities one would expect him to, and Springy was quite adamant that he has a strong shot against Mr. Bean.
I
which
think
is
so.
fair.
I think as he gets a surprise attack on him, climb up the trees.
Break his neck, yeah, that's what you said. Not impossible, but Mr. Bean is a slippery guy, you know? Oh, we had Bender versus the T-1000.
Oh, ooh.
Unfortunately for Bender, that's the
I-
T-1000. It's not even close.
Okay, because I was about to say I don't know if Bender has
Bender-
any particular powers that I'm unaware
Bender's
of.
really good at bending stuff.
But he can get
And
chopped up
that
pretty
makes- yeah.
easily.
He can. He's kind of a glass cannon.
Well, against something like the
T-1000
T-1000.
is pretty fucking powerful.
Against the T-1000,
considering.
yeah. Because like Bender being able to bend the T-1000, that's not gonna,
Wouldn't
that's
do
not gonna be
anything.
super useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that great?
It would be funny, though, to hear Bender's commentary about the T-1000.
yeah.
What mythology is Rich Evans from? Red Letter Media. It's
American
American mythology.
Milwaukee, American Northern mythology.
They actually said the super chat said Chris Evans, and then they put up another one saying Rich Evans, not Chris, for fuck's sake.
I sometimes get them confused too. Just 'cause
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Chris and Rich, and then of course the Evans, but Chris, Rich,
and they look so similar.
They do. They're basically spitting images. They originally were going to have Rich Evans be Captain America, but I think they had scheduling conflicts and they had to settle for Chris Evans.
He's got too many
so-
commitments. He's talked about it, but he'll never give up, you know, doing RLM. He'll never choose Marvel over it. And you know what? Good choice. At this point. Gromit knows nothing about TNG. Huge edge. But Gromit? The fact that he wouldn't be brought down by TNG knowledge or discussions, he would focus on making his devices.
Yeah.
I can't believe Rags sold his PC to get a bus ticket that went to Trump's rally in the Bronx, and he missed out on EFAP's best episode. Hopefully, it was worth it. No,
I was in Seattle. Where was I? No,
don't
I missed.
I don't quite remember, but
it was some
obviously
trip or something.
it was super unfortunate because obviously this would be one that you would have absolutely loved to be on the
Yeah.
full thing from.
But it must have been like a family vacation or something like
The
that.
thing is, dude, it hit 12 and a half hours and we had to rush. So with you there as well, that's at least another like average of probably an hour or two on top, and we would have been zombies by the end of it. We might have had to split it in two at that point, actually. Which, not the worst thing. Especially for the integrity of the battles. We can't just have them not be properly decided, of course. Has to be official and well done. I feel like Hannibal is a better hunter, whereas Bateman lures his victims, which wouldn't work on Lecter, maybe. Did we? I would have thought we'd decide that Hannibal would beat Bateman in terms of like the way that they strategize, because Bateman's not even like 100% confirmed even real, right? He's like potentially just daydreaming, or it's more of a
yeah. Whereas
Hannibal is a fucking
Hannibal
horrifying monster that plans the
insane.
shit out of killing people and eating them. Hear me out. What if Simba chokes him out by jumping down his throat? Chadwin. That reminds me of whole Ant-Man jumping up Thanos' bum themes.
And then expanding, yeah.
And expanding.
T-Rex should get a respirator to breathe a la Vader rules. Why would the T-Rex need a respirator? Yeah, because I think we said that Vader has to spawn with his outfit, otherwise he'd just be dead.
Yeah.
Even though the outfit is armor, so it's complicated, but still. Besides, he has the Force. He's going to be pretty fucking hard to beat, no matter what. I think, he would have had to have been a middle-class Vader.
He was definitely midweight.
Even though I think a lot of Star Wars fans were like, he should be heavyweight, he can grab planets. And you're like, no.
No, there's no grabbing
Fuck
planets.
that.
No grabbing planets.
Can't be done.
Jack is very acrobatic. Could have been about several different Jacks. Maybe Jack Bauer.
About a few Jacks. Whoa.
I don't think an engineering rig, so this is about Isaac, of course, is good enough to deal with rifle ammo. The advanced rigs, sure, but not Isaac's default one. Oh yeah, so this was Isaac versus Joel from The Last of Us.
Right.
Yeah, I think Joel wins because of skill level, and there's not enough in the difference in technology that would, I think, really play into effect here. It would basically be who has the best equipment on hand for killing the other, and Joel's skill level would end up winning out.
The thing about
Isaac
it too
is
that
an
has to be
engineer,
considered
not a
is
fighter.
Yeah, well, Isaac's enemies are zombie-like. There's ambush elements and everything, but he's really, the idea is he's an engineer, and that's his like skill hack, so to speak. But Joel spends his whole life basically subverting people and trying to kill them. So, outclassing people intellectually is like his thing in combat, and making use of low resource. So, that kind of personality, those traits definitely matter. I can see why someone would think it would be Isaac because of how far in the future his tech is. But
Which
it is true.
might come into play if it is like if it was a soldier on the Valiant versus
Well, so that's where it gets hard because if he has like the Ishimura or other elements at level 3, because level 2 there'd be in a forest, Isaac would get his armor and his plasma cutter, Joel would get his basic survivors set, and I still think Joel wins that.
Joel's too skilled. He's too much of a seasoned trained killer.
And then of course round 1, they're both just guys being spawned. It's like Joel's gonna fuck him up.
Joel wins that one easy.
But yeah, he would get the 2 rounds out of 3, and that would probably give him the win. Next. We had Mike Ehrmantraut versus who's the guy from New Vegas who's covered in bandages?
Joshua Graham.
That's it.
yeah.
It's an interesting matchup. Galadriel versus Sauron. Someone asked in a super chat.
Well, thanks to season 2, we know who the winner of that would be.
I don't even know it.
I'm sure that they're talking about the Rings of Power versions of the characters, right? Surely. Well, in The
Yes.
Hobbit, they do have they do meet in The Hobbit. Remember the Battle of the Five Armies? Galadriel and Sauron do.
Mhm.
They have a tussle, and she banishes. She uses a magic spell to shoot him over the horizon.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to This would be a question more for Hyperbook fans probably than I don't think you can gather enough information to. You probably just conclude, I guess, Sauron probably wins.
I think so.
I think so.
Sauron he's like a
So
yeah.
powerful.
her skill set is not like as a combatant as much as Amazon wants you to think otherwise.
Asura from Asura's Wrath versus Kratos from God of War 3. I don't know who Asura from Asura's Wrath is, but Kratos is a tough one because I know this applies to everybody technically, but I know that people feel this more so about Kratos. He's got the same benefit Batman does, where there's a meta element to the character if he's basically unstoppable. Not that he actually is. For example, there are certain characters like Batman's not going to be able to defeat Dr. Manhattan, no matter how much fucking prep time. Even though there's people who be like, yes, he could. It'd be like, ugh. And so I'd probably apply the same thing to Kratos. Like, as much as he's basically unkillable, unstoppable killing machine, probably not defeating Dr. Manhattan, but can definitely punch above their weight, you know? But the thing is, I don't know who Asura is, so I can't speculate.
I know of the game, but I don't know anything about it.
These matchups are better than Death Battle because they're actually fair fights that require some debate. Well, of course, I did try to put them in positions where they create some interesting ones, but I was just straight up wrong about like the power levels of some of these people. It's just that it was a little bit difficult to do so fast and try and get them in interesting places. The next MCU villains could be Yzma and Kronk, and I'd still take them more seriously than anyone in Phase 4 and 5. Same. There's no one to take seriously as it stands.
Yzma's a decently, well-characterized villain.
Yeah.
Kronk is great.
Hey Rags, you would have.
Hey.
What's your take on Kirk versus Picard?
Kirk.
The physical
At
fight,
least
Kirk wins.
In the physical fight, Kirk wins. As
When
we
they have
go
phasers.
forwards, when they have phasers, it's probably Kirk as well. He's probably a better shot, got better vision. He's just more of a fighter. The real question would be which Enterprise would win, and I think the later Enterprise would win. The TNG Enterprise would beat the original because it's just an upgrade. It's forward in the timeline, and it's supposed to be like in universe. It is an extremely impressive and deadly weapon. In the show, it is referenced the Enterprise as being incredibly powerful. To the point where there's even an episode, I think even in season 1, where Klingons try to take over it because they talk about how powerful the ship is and how they could like single-handedly use it to essentially end the stalemate, end the ceasefire between the Klingons and the trade, not the Trade Federation, the Galactic Federation. One of the early Worf-centered episodes.
Picard is mad and bald. Can he use that against Kirk, though?
He's bald. He's sometimes perturbed. He's not very emotional, though. He tries to keep it, keep things professional.
I don't know if this is before we booted Steve, but his matchup was Rambo, and someone said Rambo would be like fighting an Enderman for Steve.
Oh, well, then Steve beats an Enderman, so...
Yeah. I mean, Jack Black did, so... we have to... It's canon. Steve
round almost
2
killed Jack Black Steve, so he's not quite as good as Steve proper.
Steve round 2 is at the beginning of a playthrough, and round 3 is at the end of a playthrough. I hope command blocks and creative are off limits. What does that mean, Rex? Is that like console stuff? Or...
Command blocks, I think, are I don't know what they actually specifically refer to. Command blocks, Minecraft. Those would be things like it's a block that can execute commands. I think you need cannot be obtained or edited in survival mode without cheats. Okay, so it's not going to be something.
Well, yeah. So to be clear, like Quake, you can have God mode if you type it into the console. It's like, well, we wouldn't. I don't think that would even be in round 3. That's like
no console commands are like they're like meta external to the universe. They're like it's literally like cheat codes.
Yeah.
It's like CJ can access a tank, but he cannot just spawn one in for himself.
No,
that would be a cheat code.
That's not how it works.
Oh, we had a big old discussion about RoboCop versus the T-800. That was a tough one.
That was a tough one.
Oh, I think the T-800 wins because he could shoot RoboCop in the mouth.
Well, so one of the things that really settled it was the complication of what weapon does the T-800 get, and his default loadout should be a plasma rifle. on this round 2.
Really,
That should be
Rich
fair
is
because
good.
that
Comes
is
from because it comes from the future. Yeah.
yeah. And the plasma
And the
rifles would fucking melt RoboCop.
Yeah. And the RoboCop he's just vulnerable in half of his face. That's just the reality of it.
Well,
Mhm.
I forgot about this. One of our matchups was Jafar versus the Orphan of Kos.
Oh, actually, that depends on what
Jafar's quite
version of
powerful.
Jafar we're talking about.
thing.
Because remember, Jafar, he becomes
But
a
the problem is
genie
that
at
when
the
he
end of
becomes a
Aladdin.
genie, he needs to be directed by wishes, which means that he is somewhat at the mercy of, you know what I mean? Like
That's
the
true.
genie
He's
is the most
either
powerful being in like the universe in Aladdin, but he's bound.
But
so yeah, that's an interesting one. Because so either he's indestructible or he's because the Orphan of Kos can be killed if you hit him enough times with a sword or a gun.
true.
Genie's indestructible, but he needs he requires stipulations to activate him essentially. But if those stipulations aren't met,
To be clear,
he's not
though,
even like a player in the battle.
Round 1, Jafar loses. Sure.
Round 1, he loses.
Orphan of Kos, as much as he can be killed by bullets and swords and stuff, it takes a while. Like, so like I don't
I
think.
don't know. Good at timing his rolls and everything.
And then round 2, it probably would still go to Kos, I'd imagine. Orphan.
Probably, because even with the magic that he has, I don't know that any of that would be able to actually like stop him.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Jafar's power level as a person. Oh,
Well,
it
number
says
2 would be
Patrick
like with
Stewart
the
was
star.
originally offered the role of Jafar's voice. Interesting. Speaking of Kirk vs. Picard.
Level 2 would be the staff, which you know he can do a lot of magic with that, but I don't know if that'll be good enough to stop Kos.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what are his powers? He's alchemy, magic. He can indicate his
Well,
snake staff
again,
also has.
the staff can. I don't know why we're reading off the list. It's his staff can do a whole bunch of crazy magic stuff. But the problem is
Yeah.
that in the Bloodborne world, it's a lot of that is essentially magic anyway, and I don't know if there's compatibility there in terms of what he can do. You know, like how he uses a spell where he turns like the rug into just like fabric. You know, like it unravels. Like, you know, what exactly is he going to be doing in terms of cost? I guess you could spawn and throw them at him, but I mean, he's got to do that quick enough before cost.
I will say, there's an element here of just when they spawn and Jafar sees this creature and it just screams in agony as it jumps at him with its placenta as a weapon. I think he'd just be like, "What the fuck,
Yeah.
dude?" Like, see. Nathan loses a melee fight against Lazarevich. Is that pronounced?
Rem Lazar?
Yeah,
probably.
Lazarovich.
He
Rem
can
Lazar
melee
is extremely
kill
powerful.
the big armored
No,
machine.
what are you talking about, Rags?
Rem Lazar, he's incredibly powerful.
Doing a meme.
So, okay, all right.
He can
Rem
melee
Lazar's
kill.
no joke.
You can melee kill the big armored machine gunners in 4, though. I'm guessing that's just trying to figure out the strength level for Nathan. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's accomplished a lot of crazy stuff.
If Shrek can out-funny Bugs, he wins. Yeah, Shrek loses to Bugs Bunny, though. Come on.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, and we had Cartman versus Homer, which is funny, but we all know who wins. Bugs lifts buildings and survives TNT to the face. He is a god.
These
Like,
cartoon characters, it's gonna be complicated.
Bugs is a heavyweight. He's too OP for this tier. Yes, true.
Yeah.
Fringy versus Bugs Bunny. Does it get to be Toon Fringy?
Yeah, but I don't
That's
know.
just Fringy.
The problem is that, again, you've still got all of Bugs Bunny, you know, cinematic history and every reference there.
I think Bugs Bunny would come in and sweep them both. Yeah, well, we realized very quickly Bugs is dominating everything.
Yeah.
Can the Enterprise teleport a bomb onto the Sulaco? Oh, because this was... I think it ended up being
That's
Kirk
right.
versus Hicks. And so, yes. Well, that's the thing. I think the technology advancement in the world of Star Trek kind of wipes out Weyland Yutani's stuff in
Yeah.
Aliens.
I think so. Yeah, it does. Being able to teleport things and
We
the
still got those
shields
first
on
2
ships
rounds.
and photon torpedoes. And plus all of this, like the crazy stuff that you can like do with the Enterprise and sciencing things and the might of the Federation behind them. It's just, yeah.
A
Enterprise
shilling
wins.
for the ultimate showdown of destiny. Plotline. What's next? A shilling for the civil discussion of consequence. A shilling for the confrontation of calamity.
Ooh.
Watched Everything Everywhere All at Once with my brother. Great movie. Thank you for spotlighting it a while ago. From.
Oh, very glad that you liked it. It is a really awesome movie.
Very fond of it. Had no
Few
idea what I was
multiverse
getting
movies.
into watching that one, and I was very pleasantly surprised. What a wacky
One of the very few
film.
movies that they do the multiverse right.
Doesn't Steve have something called a locator map? That do.
You can locator map it's an item. Okay, it's just a map. I didn't know it was called the locator map. We
Does it-
just typically call it the map.
Does it
as far
display
as I
like
know.
all players or something? Or
It allows players to locate other players, and
Ah.
as far as I know, it's just like wherever you go, it sort of plots out the land, and you can combine them and set the zoom on them.
Because I that would
It's,
be pretty useful in this for round 2 as well.
Yeah, it shows the
three.
position. The difference between a normal map and a locator map is that the locator map shows the exact position of the players, so you wouldn't be able to hide from him because you'd be on the locator map.
1% win is still a win. Let's go, Steve. So yeah, we did a vote, I think, and he won out on the chat's vote by 1% of whatever. I think
Right.
people started
Stu?
voting against him because they didn't like how powerful he was.
I mean, too bad. Steve is a force to be
That's
reckoned with.
the thing. You got to be careful with popularity contests. Especially, they go both ways, you know. When someone gets hated on for too simply beating everybody, especially favorite characters, they start to be like, I don't like him. I'm not voting for him. Down with that guy. Oh yeah, so we talked, I think, for a while about we had Doc versus the T-800. Now the obvious problem in 2 and 3 was the
Back before-
DeLorean.
or the Back to the Future doc, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
And said if
Time
the
machine.
the T-800 kills him, there's no time travel, and he can't go back to kill him. Doc's invincible here. So I think it would have, yeah, because so round 1 goes to the Terminator, but round 2 goes to Doc, but round 3 was complicated because the Terminator would then have access to time travel as well.
If they both have time travel, then it might just come down to, well, if they both use time travel against each other, would those essentially cancel out and we have to move to a different series of... Well, would Doc be able to outsmart the Terminator in terms of time travel usage and things of that
You'd
nature?
think that Doc would be able to invent something else that would do significant damage to a Terminator, I guess.
Yeah, he did make an ice cube in the Old West, so he's really, really smart.
Don't underestimate Doc. Go, Steve! Aw. Sky's the limit. Steve build on a limit is 255 blocks. Well. Probably
But
more
that
than
is still...
a lot.
That's a lot. And a
The
block is
original-
a meter, so if you get over 256 meters, it just means that Steve can't build anything above that point.
We have Tarzan versus Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake. Tarzan might have a chance if he can get the drop on him in the jungle.
Well, I was going to say
Tarzan's
round
got
1 is
chances
Tarzan,
That's
right?
round turf.
Sorry, no, yeah, Tarzan wins round 1 easy.
'Cause it's just
Round
person
2,
versus
Round
it's
2's
got
tough.
The problem is, like, you know, Tarzan, I would concede, is like better in terms of being able to climb around and shit, but like Nathan Drake is really good at climbing. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Tarzan
like
is
that's something that's
super
not-
good at
Well,
climbing.
I was
though.
about to say, I don't think
so-
it's comparable because that's like Tarzan's house. You know what I mean? Like that's
He
his
like-
whole
That
thing.
is, I would agree that he's better, but like, I don't know. Again, this would be a case of the shit that Nathan Drake manages to survive from climbing is insane.
Well, it's not about. I'm
He's
sure he's a
really
really
good
good
at climbing.
climber, but Tarzan knows how to better utilize it for probably like ambush techniques and stuff.
Certainly for the
Tarzan arguably moves faster when climbing.
He's way
than
faster
running.
than Drake. There's no competition there.
I mean, when you say like on ambushing, like Drake swinging around with his hook and jumping down and ambushing people, like that's something he does. What I'm trying to say is I don't think it's as vast a distance between them as I think would be expected. Plus, he got guns, which obviously is going to be his big advantage.
Well,
I
Clayton
think
had
I
a
would
gun.
push back
Look
and
what happened
say
to him.
it is a
Clayton had
vast
gun, but it was a
difference.
shit gun. It was a shitty
Oh,
gun,
it was
not
a shitty gun.
Yeah, it was not a good gun. Like it's
Well,
you can only
blunderbuss
fire
or
it like
something, right?
once. Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
shotgun.
It was a shit gun.
Well, in any case, like Tarzan's super OP. He's
What-
one of like the most OP in a forest like characters you can have.
That's true. That in the forest is absolutely the best terrain, but like again, Nathan Drake is really good at climbing shit. Like I feel like that can't be understated.
You can when you're against
Like-
Tarzan.
Nathan Drake can survive collapsing buildings through climbing. Like he's really good at climbing.
But that's not gonna. But there's no buildings in the jungle, so that's not gonna help him.
Well, it's not about the fact that it is a building. It's about the idea that he can survive a collapsing building.
I don't know,
Which
it's
I-
just-
When he gets knocked off a
Tarzan
tree,
can
he's
do-
dead though.
but it's Tarzan. He's like
I
that's
know,
his like primary trait.
I know. I agree. I believe that Tarzan is better. I wonder how much better he is, though.
I'd say
If it's as much
significantly.
as we think. Okay.
this. Yeah, if we're talking about the arena being a jungle, Tarzan will have a huge
Well, that's round
Are we
two.
talking?
advantage.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about like Disney Tarzan when we say this? Because like he does crazy shit. So I would.
Was the broad
Like, what I'm
understanding
kinda
of any
using.
given character, so that would definitely be in consideration. The image was of the cartoon or the drawn 2D
Yeah,
one.
because if we're talking about him, like he's fucking insane.
Also,
In
there,
terms of,
there
like,
was
his ability to
messages in
climb.
chat saying if you read the original story, he's even more OP. So
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean, again, he's. I agree. He's really, really good at climbing shit. I totally agree.
well, that's
round
why
two
he
still
might
feels
have.
like it's gonna be-
He probably has round one. He might have round two as well.
He might. He might though. I feel like the
Well,
might.
Drake's got to
almost
shoot him
acknowledge it.
basically, as long as he
Which-
nails that.
Drake's pretty good at shooting. He's got a lot of
Yeah,
practice.
he's really good at shooting. It
And
it
remember,
feels like
he,
a much
he is,
more.
he is an expert in basically all weapons. That's like the thing that isn't really acknowledged, but he can pick up any weapon and perform well with it. Whether it's a rifle, pistol, sniper, rocket launcher, grenade launcher, even including like ancient crossbows and stuff. Like he can use those with like pinpoint precision. And I mean, though again, he would start off with like an AK. That would be like what his default. But with full tac, it'd be some crazy shit that he has access
Well, yeah,
to.
I would bet on Drake for round three for sure. That's why.
Round two is the top one.
Yeah.
I agree.
The original Tarzan from the comics is a genius and a scholar. Interesting.
Nathan Drake is. I would say Nathan Drake has to be a genius. He can like the number of languages that he knows and can read, and like all of the knowledge that he has of history is kind of insane.
We
Like, he could
considering Disney Tarzan or Pulp Tarzan? It's the same answer. The question is like with all these characters, they're not quite from any given one. A lot of the like King Arthur, for example, is one of the probably the better examples
that
of
one.
just it's just drawn from general knowledge. It's not any particular IP.
Yeah.
I feel like a complete stranger being the only one who knows a lot about Minecraft. Steve, should I be worried? No. It's just that Rags wasn't on the episode. He would have. I was about to say he would have
set things
fought for
straight.
Steve, but you wouldn't have needed to. He was dominating everything anyway.
Yeah, I'll go to
Um,
bat for my boy Steve.
Skyrim Nazim versus The Legend of Zelda Tingle. Mr. Tingle's great guy. What species is Tingle? Is he like a gnome or something? Do either of you know who Tingle is?
Yes, but I don't know anything about him other than like I only know of him through Super Smash Bros. Because he's like a trophy in that, I think.
The map salesman who wants to become a fairy. All right. So who was it? They said Tingle versus Skyrim Nazim. Who's that?
Do you go? He's the guy who's in Whiterun, and he says, "Oh, do you come to the Cloud District often?" Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't. But that's all I know about him.
Well, yeah, I can't answer that
I don't,
question.
he's
then.
not a warrior. He's not a fighter.
Well, I think
He's
Tingle's
just a
pretty easy to
guy.
defeat as well, though. That's part of the point.
That's probably true. I think Nazim's just kind of a guy. I think he's a red guard.
Oh, fair enough.
And plus, like the Skyrim NPCs, they are just like absurdly brave. They're ludicrously they're ludicrously brave. So like if a dragon lands in the middle of Whiterun, like everyone will go up and start like punching it. It's absurd. So he will have no fear when it comes to Tingle.
He'll have no fear. I just like the idea of punching a dragon. He was like, yeah, fuck you, get out of my fucking town. Shit.
He'll probably say something along the lines just like generic NPC dialogue of fighting, like, yeah, do you like that? You want another one? Ha, that's what you get. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
This is only a taste of my power. And he just punches you.
Can we bump Steve and Bugs up to a harder class? I think we either did or we disqualified them. I don't remember what happened exactly. Steve takes Bugs if he makes an Albuquerque sign. Oh yeah, that's the big thing, right? It's like Bugs versus
Ooh,
Steve.
yeah.
You know,
You can make a sign and say, yeah, you can. So he'll take he should have taken the left turn at Albuquerque, but he might not have. True.
This might be really important going forward. Does the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man get Gozer as backup in round 3? No.
No.
He does not. Robocop for the win, lol. Oh yeah, I think it went down to a vote with one of the Robocop ones, and I was not surprised people vote for him. Robocop is quite popular. Okay, because he's cool. In what universe does a gun-firing standard ammunition bring down a T-Rex? We need specialized weapons just for elephants. T-Rex weighs more and it's way tougher.
You need slightly specialized normal bullets. I could go to the store right now and buy a gun that will kill an elephant. Okay, let's calm down. One of the reasons that we use particularly potent cartridges when hunting very big animals is because we want to kill them humanely and with as non-messily as possible. You can kill an elephant with something smaller. You don't have to use a 45-70 or a 50 cal to kill an elephant. You can do it with 308 7.62 by 39s. Like you could all sorts of it'd just be messy and it's not humane.
And I mean, I'd be curious how much damage you can do if you can get the T-Rex to open its mouth and shoot inside it. I wonder if that could get some serious damage going.
Animals are not they haven't evolved to be able to physically resist fucking bullets fired out of firearms. If they can, it's kind of coincidental. Bullets fuck animals up. Because how do you evolutionarily? How do you prepare for that? How do you select for that? It just is. It's why in Jurassic World, the first one, when Blue gets shot by that one handgun bullet, it's yeah, that could fuck you up. It's a bullet going into a body. It's just flesh and sinew and muscle in there, and there's soft organs.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, at one point, Darth Vader versus Doctor Doom.
I don't know enough about Doctor Doom's power level to weigh much in on that.
Round 1 probably goes to Vader because of the Force.
The Force.
That might
always is the Force.
We might have put that on a chat vote because knowledge on Doctor Doom wouldn't be enough to compare to Vader. A double KO on the table because Medusa could lose to anyone wearing a reflective item while taking them out. I can't remember what we decided on that, but
technically, Medusa will turn to stone if she sees her own reflection. That is the mythology. That's the lore.
You try to play the odds, right? What's the likelihood of the enemy being able to either make use of that, know how to use it, or that it happens?
But the reason that Perseus was able to kill Medusa was he looked at Medusa's reflection. So you can look at Medusa's reflection, which makes me wonder if you look at Medusa through sunglasses or through the visor of your helmet or whatever, is that enough to protect you, or does it have to be the side of it unobscured? Well, the reflection is fine. So
a lot of interpretations of Medusa, It's not. It's like looking at you versus gazing at you, as in
Yeah, like an extended specific way to
Yeah.
look at. Yeah, it's not just.
because it works that way in God of War and in the updated Clash of the Titans and stuff. That she's got like normal mode where you can kind of look at her, but whenever she goes like meh or whatever, it's just like, oh, I'm stoned now. You got me.
And she doesn't even have to be, because in the original, I think he cuts off her head and uses it to kill
the Kraken.
I think so. Yeah. So she doesn't even have to be alive. It's just
Yeah.
looking at her, because she's not looking. I guess there's technically a point that her eyes are at, but you looking at her gaze is enough. She doesn't have a real say in the matter. Actually,
Another cool name, by the way, Medusa.
Medusa is a good name. So is the Kraken. So
Oh,
is like
yeah.
all like Minotaur. Like a lot of those are just cool names.
Cerberus.
Minotaur or Minotaur?
I say Minotaur.
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
So
Cerberus is a
if
cool
we're
name.
talking about etymology, it's it's from the King Minos.
Okay.
Is the I think technically the it's specific. It's from Minos. So
Okay, so I can see why it would be
so
Minotaur
I think,
then.
but I've heard it both ways, and I don't
I've
I
always
don't
said
know.
Minotaur.
I don't even know which one I say. Now that I think about it, it's tainted, but I
Yeah,
don't know
it
which
can
one I
be.
technically say. I probably cycle between the
complicated.
both of them. I just pick one at random when I say it out loud.
Oh, I think at one point as well we did Goku versus Superman, and we said from the beginning we're leaving this to chat. We're not gonna fucking figure this out.
Yeah, I have no idea what Goku's
And-
abilities are.
Yeah,
Go-
how many episodes does Goku have to waffle on before he does something before the fight?
Well, in any case, I think chat voted for Goku.
Goku, which is probably correct.
Probably, but you
I would
know how
guess so.
you know how it is with the comic fans. They'd be like, "Oh fuck you! You've not even
well, in
read
this
the Superman." And
issue,
you're like, "This issue, this issue."
Yeah.
You're like, okay. But to be fair, they've got a foot to stand on with that, like because it's
That's
not
true.
fair.
There is a lot of comics history.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I
remember we
suppose that's
did
fair.
we did Helldiver versus the Joker at one point, and we basically concluded like, well, the Joker's gonna lose, right? And then someone in chat was like, well, have you considered God Emperor Joker? And you're like, ugh.
I was like, we have not and will not consider God Emperor Joker.
God Emperor Joker has been will not be considered. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Helldiver wins, obviously.
Ratchet can summon micro black holes. Yes, this gave him an
Yeah,
edge.
we Ratchet in round 2 and 3 gets significant. I mean, Ratchet in round 1 ain't bad either in terms of like what he can do, but in rounds 2 and 3, he wins 3 basically most of the time.
Especially because he's in the middleweight class, so
Yeah,
a lot of the enemies there you can beat. Everyone forgets Excalibur's scabbard is the best magic. Canonically, Arthur can't die while wearing it. He is defeated only when Modred swaps in a fake. Yeah, I don't know about any of that.
The scabbard effect, yes. It effectively makes it, I think. So from Thomas Mallory, then Sir Arthur looked on the sword and liked it passing well. Whether liketh you better, said Merlin, the sword. Whether liketh you better, said Merlin, the sword or the scabbard. Me liketh better the sword, said Arthur. Ye are more unwise, said Merlin, for the scabbard is worth 10 of the swords. For whiles ye have the scabbard upon you, ye shall never lose no blood, be ye never so sore wounded. Therefore keep well the scabbard always with you.
Sounds pretty OP.
Pretty powerful. Got to get that scabbard off of him.
When we get into the heavyweight stuff, it's like Spider-Man versus Green Lantern. It's like, oh, finally a normal fight that people actually talk about all the time instead of, Kirby versus Santa, which we did have, I think, at one point.
it's just if Kirby can close the distance, it's basically game over.
Yeah, Kirby is hyper overpowered, hence being in heavyweight.
Oh yeah.
Covenant ships can tank nukes easily. Okay, so we had
Ships can tank
Arbiter.
what?
It was
Real quick.
Arbiter
That would have
versus
been
Predator.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Who versus Arbiter?
Arbiter versus Predator. The complication being I'm not super familiar with the extent to gouge to like spaceship technology, but obviously they have interstellar travel, so but sort of the Covenant.
So the Covenant, yeah.
The Covenant are more. I think that they would probably have a more specialized, like naval potential because of like their own culture of like warfare and I would imagine it might be different than the more individualistic honor culture that we're led to believe the Yautja have, though we can't say for certain.
Hard to call that one.
Hard to say.
It is. I'm going to side with the Covenant because we have seen what they're capable of, especially if you talk about the novelization of it, where they are, like, in terms of their space capabilities, they're like extremely powerful, and there's an insane amount of them because it's a confederation of many different species. On an individual basis, I think we've talked. I feel like we've talked about this before. It's pretty even. They both have comparable weapons and equipment, and Arbiter and a Predator would be. They're both like warriors.
Well, the thing
who
is,
have
I remember we
training
talked about this. The big difficulty for Arbiter is how well is he going to deal with the Predator's
Plasma cannon.
Plasma cannon. Yeah, like I think our conclusion was he can tank one hit with his shield, and then on round 2 he's dead. So even though it could be said that they're both about as strong as each other, which they probably are, they're probably equal strength. The equipment, because Arbiter's base loadout would be like a carbine and an energy sword, which is not going to help him too much against Predator with the plasma caster. I remember this conversation.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting one.
Predator, if he gets shot by the carbine, he's fucked.
He is dead, but the problem is that it's going to be easier for Predator to get the drop on Arbiter than the other way around.
Does
Arbiter
the Arbiter
has
have
invisibility,
the cloak?
Though.
Yeah, well, they both have invisibility, right?
The problem is that the cloak doesn't protect you from the
Predator
visor.
scans. Yeah. The Predator can detect it.
The Predator, I think Predator won round 2. I think we concluded Arbiter wins round 3, and I can't remember what we concluded on round 1.
That's a tough one, round 1.
The round 1 is going to be really tough. I think Arbiter, the nature of his sword. It's without stuff. Okay.
That's why it was a tough one. It's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I would have to see the movies again because like a human cannot possibly compare to an elite's raw strength, a Sangheili's raw strength. I don't know if they fare any better against the Yautja though.
They might. I think, gun to my head, if I was told one of them would clearly win, who do you think it is? I'd probably go with Arbiters for strength.
I would lean that way, but I am not sure.
The Predator's complicated because there's different sizes of Predators.
Sized.
Well, there's different sizes. There's different classes of Predator. I think we were going with the Predator film Predator, as in the original.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Of course, he was able to quite easily overpower Arnie, like easily. So
the thing is that a human against like Arbiter would be fucked. Arbiter's like 10 feet tall and.
Well, so that's what actually I was going to bring up is the Predator's height is actually not too much higher than Arnie's.
Whereas again, like Arbiter stands taller than literally any human like that exists in the world.
Yeah, I think I would go with Arbiter on that round 1, but I'd be interested to know if
Arbiter round 2 would be particularly. It's like I
remember we settled this one. I
would say balance of probabilities is probably Predator more often than Arbiter on round 2.
Yeah.
Not impossible for Arbiter to win, but you do 10 matchups.
It's improbable. It's improbable. Yeah.
But it's a good one. I like that one. Quite a lot of little good ones in here. There's some that are a little more obvious, but
yeah.
Wouldn't Arbiter have access to an entire fleet? Got to be careful because
in round 3 it's a bit tougher. Yeah.
The problem with that one is just a complete lack of lore knowledge for Predator to be able to talk about it.
Does he only get one ship, or does he get access to a whole bunch more?
And then we got to be careful about that because it's like we're calling in an army of Arbiters / the Covenant versus all the Predators, and it's just like this is getting a bit out of hand for figuring it out. Does Does Boba get his back to tank? Yeah, we had Alien versus Boba Fett. Well, what did we conclude about Alien versus Boba Fett? I'm not even sure.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
A lot of chat at the time was saying Boba Fett. Well, I mean, round one, Boba's probably fucked. I mean,
Round one,
he's
I
got to be
think
right.
so.
The only no, I don't think he's anything he could do. Like, there's just he's not got
I
any
just don't
weapons.
see.
But round two is the interesting one because Boba gets his full loadout, which is pretty tough, and it would kill an alien if he gets the shot.
He's got rockets, blasters, flamethrower, tripwires. He's got all
Yeah.
of his other gadgets and stuff. And then once he gets access to Slave One, like the Predator or Alien can't compete against Slave One. It'll just because it's an alien. So
Yeah, the alien can't win round three. I think is
Yes.
fair. Well, it depends on how you. If the idea in round three is you're both spawned on Earth and you can do whatever you want with maximum powers, like the alien would start fucking, building an army of aliens, and then Boba Fett would get into a ship and have to find it. I guess this is the complication of like, how exactly would it play out? Corporate asks you to find the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. So this is about V from V for Vendetta versus Captain America. Which, what's really funny is several people in chat were saying it's obviously Captain America. He's a super soldier. Like, V is a super soldier.
he for Vendetta also a super soldier.
He's super duper strong to the point where he gets shot. What is it, like fucking 30
Many
times and survives. I know he dies, but he survives briefly, and he's able to kill several people. It's like, he's a tough guy. That one was complicated. I can't remember if we went with. Would Cap have the edge because of his? I mean, V only has knives.
Yeah.
Cap, into fairness of him, oftentimes has a pistol, which would get in the way for V quite a bit. But yeah, we probably figured it out, I'm sure. Cap is max human potential in lore. I mean, that's true. It's just that V is pretty fucking formidable too, in terms of that kind of thing.
I think Cap would win. The shield and his ability to use it would be like super potent against.
It'd be a cool fight to watch
V and the
if they did it right.
knives. So, yeah, I think so. Absolutely, it would be. Because V is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Not often you get to say that sentence.
So I would
But,
say
like, he's got a lot of.
V would
then
not
again,
want to
so's
kill
Cap,
Cap.
so. No,
Very much not.
and Cap wouldn't want to kill me. So
Well,
it's-
if the context they have of each other,
if he
V
had
would definitely
to.
not, but Cap could easily be convinced that V is a terrorist, and it's complicated. But
because
yeah,
V is, he would take into account the fact that V is essentially fighting against an evil dystopian, like
yeah,
like,
it's
terrible.
because whose world are we in? It's like, well, it's neutral, so it's like I don't know.
But if it was in a neutral world, then V wouldn't be doing those things, so he wouldn't
Well,
have a
but
reason to.
what would that's like a thing that do they work with or do they not know each other's reputations? And it's like, well, I guess if they're from different universes, they wouldn't. That was another complication, right? Because if you had Iron Man versus Cap or something, it's like, well, I guess they would work with having known each other, right? And as was mentioned, how much do you play in sort of personal feelings? Because a lot of these characters, especially in Lightweight, would never kill a person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, yeah, shut up. they got no choice, damn it. What else we got here? Hypothetical is a show about a son and his adventures with dad. The show's first episode has the son resurrecting his dad with a magic wand he found. Okay.
All right,
Right then.
something to think about.
They continue. Magic never comes up ever in the show after that, and the show is 100% down to earth son dad stories, but the episodes are brilliantly written, the best. It ends never properly explaining the existence of that magic. Would you consider the show good or forever flawed by such foundational aspect being impossible? So, I think, it's not about impossible. It would just be, what is the context of this? Why have the characters never discussed it? That would be essentially a plot hole. And it would affect them in terms of, like, they've cracked resurrection, but they don't bring it up. Seems a bit weird. Like, I get the point of the question. It's like, what if the show was amazing, but it has this major foundational flaw? Like, how does that affect it overall? And it's just like, well, it would be extremely strange, and there are character criticisms to have, as well as of the world, depending on where they got this or found this. But maybe there's room enough to try and headcanon something that doesn't contradict anything necessarily. I doubt that would be the case with something like that. Resurrecting a person. Very, very strange example for a show. Who knows? Maybe there is one that exists out there that would be like that. No, it should have been Frank Horrigan. No, rigged. A lot of people felt it was rigged. Oh, and there's a super chat here saying, Fringy, your 12 Angry Men video is gone.
Yeah, I'll have to try and sort that out at some point. Copyright flisms, pretty annoying. But I will try and see if I can sort that one out.
We had Light versus a werewolf, which is kind of an interesting matchup, considering.
Well, I remember one of the things we had to talk about was if he could make the deal for the Shinigami eyes quick enough that he could take him down so that he could get his name.
If the werewolf's name is Hubert Blaine Wolfenschliegen Stunfhausen Bergendorf Senior, then Light is screwed.
That's true.
We got Link versus Geralt. If this is base Breath of the Wild Link, he should have all of his magic-like status and magnetism, since those are all gained in the tutorial area.
Well, I guess
even
Geralt has his magic, right?
Well, I was going to say, even if you gain magic abilities in the tutorial area, that doesn't mean you spawn with them in round 1. It's whatever isn't... It's only your DNA, basically. Like, whatever comes with your biology is what you get in round 1. So, you know, the problem is I haven't played that tutorial, so I can't give better context on it. But, like, the Force would be in round 1, because that's what they have as part of their biology. But something like... I guess in Harry Potter, right, they need wands to focus their magic, or to even use it in many cases. So they wouldn't have wands in round 1, so that could fuck them over completely.
I'm not actually certain what. Yeah,
I'm pretty
think you have to
sure
be
that's the
super
case.
powerful to not need a wand, but
Yeah, there's
I'm
like
not
very
up to date on the
few
lore.
wizards who've
Eventually
ever
you
been
don't
able to
need
do
it,
it without wands. Well, because even Dumbledore and Voldemort need wands. But there are some people who don't need wands, and they're considered like fascinatingly powerful or something like that. I remember watching a video about it. It was kind of interesting, but yeah, I'm uniquely unqualified to probably talk about Geralt fighting Link. I'd just be like, because Geralt's got a bunch of powers, right?
His magic, he's got powerful
magic.
magic, but it's kind of weaker. It's on the weaker scale. It's even sort of his Witcher signs. It is magic, but it's not like what a witch would be able to cast. There are sort of like battle magic, things of that nature. He can give himself protection, and he can like slow down enemies and things like that.
Chat is dumb not picking Demon God Killer Link. Oh, I guess we put it to a vote, and they chose Geralt. Can Charizard
Geralt
breathe in
versus Link?
space? Oh yeah, we got Charizard versus Ridley, which I mean,
I don't know enough about Ridley.
probably Ridley wins.
Ridley's smart. That's
What
like
level
the
is
big thing that'll
Charizard?
work in his favor.
I
I think the thing is, it doesn't really. I don't know how much that necessarily like matters. You've dealing with the fact that Ridley is actually like sentient. Like he's
also
like
got
a person, but he's a dragon. And plus, with level 3, he's got the space pirates as well to back him up.
That's true. I'm assuming we don't give Charizard a bunch of Pokemon at level 3.
No, well, the problem is that's not something Charizard can call upon. Like Charizard can't like use other Pokemon. You know, like Charizard at level 1 and 3 is the same.
You're saying
Ridley at level 1 and
Charizard?
3 Charizard.
Oh, okay. Saying Charizard, and I was like, I
might have
right?
said it accidentally, yeah.
It's a very important I.
It is.
What's next? Ridley has a ship, lol. Well, yeah, round 3 Ridley's dominant.
That's the thing.
Next time when you put Pokemons, do more research. No. I
No.
refuse. We've had there's like 3 different people who've said this in Super Chats. It's just, every time it's just like, you shouldn't ask these questions. You don't know how ridiculous you sound. And bear in mind, you're only saying it about the one that you thought we didn't say the thing on. You have to bear in mind that's applicable to all of the battles. There's not really even a single character here that we're going to know every single thing about. Even some of our favorites will have forgotten elements. It's going to happen. And by the way, we had 9 to 10 people in the whole thing, and still there was gaps in knowledge, even though we're all supposed to be media aficionados, because it happens. It's all being
There's
human,
a lot
and
of
it's
media.
fun. Yeah, because God, Emperor, Joker. These are things that just we don't know, you know? We just don't know these things.
What about God Emperor Joker?
Sweet crispy critters. This is a long boy proper late to the party. We'll watch the full thing later. Looking forward to all sorts of tism and fleam. Absolutely. Destiny is in the title, and he's not even here. Shake my head. Also, Rags. Hi.
Hello.
Who is also not here. Also, watch Paranoia Agent. 9 months I've been birthed by EFAB. Ugh. Paranoia Agent.
Our baby.
Fair enough.
Our beautiful child.
The Phantom Menace re-release just put it back into top 50 highest grossing movies of all time. Sequels could never get that kind of traction again. What an embarrassment. Well, yeah.
You're right. I don't think that if they re-release the sequels, lol. I don't know how many people might go see The Force Awakens a little bit, but they wouldn't. No.
Not even sure about that. I don't know. Interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it would be
RoboCop tanks rockets. The T-800 was severely damaged by a pipe bomb. The Terminator doesn't stand a chance. That is the most biased fucking assessment I have ever heard. Holy shit.
interesting.
I mean, RoboCop got stabbed with like a metal rod.
All you have to do
know?
is say the T-800 can tank like futuristic weaponry indefinitely, while RoboCop was beaten by a magnet. You know, like why are we doing that? That's not how you assess this shit.
Exactly. It's just being stupid.
Where are we? Yes. This question was already answered in the comic book RoboCop versus the Terminator. Well, forgive me for not having read it, but at the same time, just because a writer decided which one wins does not necessarily mean they win in the Ultimate Showdown.
Writers. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the podcast, but writers decide a lot of interesting things.
Ray beat Luke, you know, he's shitty. So
Leia beat Luke.
Leia beat Luke too. So yeah, maybe we don't consider a lot of this stuff canon sometimes.
It's because it's written down. A lot of the things that are written are really shitty.
Very, very true. Gonna watch A Haunting in Venice. Loved The Murder on the Orient Express. Skipped the film. I will complete your review beforehand, though, for fun. I would say watch the film before going through our breakdown, because, of course...
Yeah, I would say so, too.
And I remember, I wasn't as much a fan of the Kenneth Branagh Orient Express, but I turned my mind on the Death on the Nile.
Oh, yeah, Death on the Nile is actually, like,
I was surprised. Because I think I wasn't paying attention first time around, but second time I was like, there's some stuff
I
in here.
haven't seen it yet, so I need to catch it.
It's better than Orient Express. It is better than it. It's not better than A Haunting in Venice, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't turn around on Haunting in Venice.
So.
I just liked that movie a lot. It was very, very fun.
I liked it more on a rewatch. It got better on a rewatch.
Cool movie. And they do the good thing of making you wonder, was there a spooky ghost? Scary. Isn't Heracles an actual warrior? Oh yeah, we put Hercules versus Mr. Incredible, and a lot of people got mad because they're like, "How could you ever entertain Mr. Incredible could beat him?" It's like, okay, gee. How is Ridley in this and Samus isn't? I'll give you 3 guesses on why we haven't come across Samus yet. He's in the heavy.
She's a woman, and we don't talk about women.
You need to dissipate the T-1000's whole body to beat him. Oh yeah, we have T-1000 versus Master Chief, which is like,
Yeah, the thing I think we concluded that Master Chief wins round 3, but he can't win round 1 and 2.
Difficult.
Yeah, I mean, what would he have access to that could kill the T-1000?
Well, we said
Plasma
that
grenades?
the default loadout is but the problem is they weren't part of the default loadout. Default loadout was phistle, assault rifle, 2 frag grenades. So
yeah, plasma stuff might do it because
Energy Sword could do it too.
Movie.
the Covenant weapons would do it.
Ooh,
It's just that human weapons
yeah,
wouldn't. So he lose. We determined that he loses rounds 1 and 2.
yeah.
Won't time travel keep him in the forest in time? I'm not sure which matchup this is about, I'm afraid, but potentially. The time travel fights were really fucking annoying, I'm gonna be honest, like, in terms of figuring out how that works. In the comics, the Hulk is the last person on Earth spending every day being eaten alive by giant insects while constantly regenerating. Okay. Like, that sucks, man.
All right.
You know? Damn.
Interesting.
Santa is also ageless, right? So is there a time that Doc could go to? Oh, I guess Doc fought Santa. Santa's tough to beat. We looked at his power set and it's insane. He was absolutely at home in the heavyweights. Are there any SCPs in this list? Missed opportunities if not. SCP-682 or 96 would have been great additions. Not enough room for SCPs.
They probably would, but SCPs would be their own thing. A lot of them would be cool, but
The thing was,
yeah.
I tried to, I think, stick to like 2 from any given franchise at maximum, but even that was tough with certain ones, right? 'Cause
Especially with some of them, yeah.
I assume you excluded Maxwell from Scribblenauts for being too unfair. Weekly reminder to play Trails in the Sky. But he did not make the roster, but he'd be a tough one. Sackboy would be interesting too, right? Toss him in.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan's power is canonically enough to fight Superman. Real thing. That doesn't surprise me at all. Dr. Manhattan is like a fucking cosmic being. He's, I wouldn't have thought Superman could beat him. Did Chuck Norris make Heavyweight, like the song? I don't think Chuck Norris was in this. Maybe it would just be too unfair. Homer noticing this stream. Nerds! He'd be right. Flash literally outran death. What the fuck does that even mean?
I'm pretty sure that if you shot Flash in the head, he wouldn't
Dude,
he wouldn't outrun
This
death.
was the shit that was driving Theo insane. Was reading the almost
Like,
metaphors.
outran death. I
Yeah,
bet
like
that sounded
outran the
cool in
concept of honor or something. You're like, what the fuck do you mean? On the Headless Horseman, the Washington Irving short story might hint that it's actually Brom Bones who dresses as the Horseman. He's just the frat bro of the story. He might be cosmic, maybe. Maybe. Oh yeah, Freddy Krueger was in Heavyweights, and he was, he's a tough one, man. Like, for any of these characters to beat even the toughest guys. Wasn't it? Did we have Freddy versus Cthulhu, and we were like, fuck.
Just Freddy get to his dreams, you know,
And then
like,
get terrified? Like, how does it work?
Yeah.
If it is EU Palpatine, he can take over Darkseid's body by using essence transfer and win via destroying his mind. Oh, God. It gets too complicated at this point. Heavyweight was like the worst because the power interactions were impossible.
It's
Does
that
Vader-
weird plateaus of ridiculousness.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Cthulhu versus Dr. Manhattan it's like, okay, what is that? Cthulhu versus Kirby.
It's just a matter of, it's up to the writer at that point, really. There's no determining factor, because either they're affected by madness or they aren't. You know, it's up to you. Does Vader get Loud Soup in round 2 or 3? Probably 3. That's a pretty overpowered weapon.
Loud Soup is a force to be reckoned with. And also goes great with bread.
So we got Supersonic versus fuck, why am I forgetting? Hey, that information just ghot robbed from my brain. It's the
Oh my god.
3-headed dragon from Godzilla stuff,
Oh.
right? Ghidorah.
Oh, yeah, King Ghidorah.
So King Ghidorah versus Supersonic. What do you think?
I don't know. Supersonic is like insane, so he probably wins or some shit.
Well, yeah, because the super chat said he beat Perfect Chaos in Generations while base.
Yeah, Perfect Chaos is like kind of King Ghidorah. Well,
But
he's
the
a big
thing
monster.
is,
Big
King
monster thing.
Ghidorah, does he have an aura of radiation? I know, obviously, Godzilla kind of does, but
Well, yeah, because if
certain
he's
modes.
got that, then you know, Sonic's gonna melt before he can even get close to him.
And then King Ghidorah can regenerate pretty fast. What makes him an asshole. But like, you know, yeah, I don't know. We might have left that one to a vote. I'm not sure. Superman doesn't lose. Superman shatters multiverses, infinite multiverses with ease, and Goku still can't reach infinity. We started pissing people off with that fight
Okay.
because it's like an age-old battle that's not been solved. So we already knew we weren't going to settle that one. Seriously, not everyone you might want to win will win. These are limited and should let the group have their wins. There's other videos and streams that will give your winners your wins. Yeah, totally. We're mostly messing around. You should never get so seriously invested in this that it actually upsets you. Because like, the thing about it is, we would have forgotten our choices, in a couple of weeks, probably. At least a lot of them. Key is not magic in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has his own thing called magic. Dragon Ball has limited power. Superman has infinity.
Okay.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. Again, it was down to the chat for that one.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. It's like fair answer.
Can Goku snap Zod's neck?
Ooh.
That's the question. Let it be known, Goku only won because popular. I mean, Superman is popular.
Superman's pretty popular.
Yeah.
So we had Zeus versus Odin, a classic.
Ah,
What do you think, Rex?
Oh, I do not know enough about Odin's mythology. Zeus is really powerful, though. The kind of stuff that he can do
Mm-hmm.
is kind of nuts. I'll side with Zeus, but a lot of that is because I just do not know about Odin's like power levels and the mythologies.
I think people are happy to say Odin is more intelligent or wise, I guess, but Zeus is probably more powerful. I think that's what people settle on. I'm not sure. It's another hard one to call, but I think we did a chat vote for that. Do you know what one we did a chat vote for? It was Kratos versus Mewtwo.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
I think Kratos wins.
So the chat voted with 53% to Mewtwo.
Interesting.
I mean, Mewtwo's powerful, but
Mewtwo's really powerful, but like Kratos,
Kratos.
like, come on, man.
I don't know. Let's see. Zeus turned into a goose and ravaged a woman.
Yes, he did. Well, Swan, but
Zeus
Leda was her
spends-
name.
Zeus spends most of his time cheating on his wife. Well, I mean, all got our hobbies, I guess. Zeus versus slightly bigger Zeus is the real question. What? Slightly bigger Zeus? Oh, we had Merlin versus Gandalf.
Oh shit, that's a toss-up. It depends on like what version of the mythology or the stories or whatnot that you use. Gandalf's power is tough to say.
Well, and how they
'cause of its
interact is tough too,
depiction.
right?
Yeah. Because you can't like kill Merlin and you can't like kill Gandalf either. Yeah, it's an odd one.
Think about. Half of these matchups depend on the version. True. Well, I mean, they also depend on what the writers think. Some of them you could argue are just pointless, but it's like, well, have fun with it for a bit. Think about some stuff. Use the Transformers 5 Merlin. I have not seen that movie.
Oh,
Merlin
Well,
is in
it's-
Transformers
yes,
5. Oh
yes.
my
it's
goodness.
King Arthur. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The Transformers. I love how Transformers showed up in 2007. No, they showed up in ancient Egypt. No, they showed up. They were there on the moon before we got there. No, they killed the dinosaurs. It's like just with every movie changing how long the fucking Transformers have been involved in the happenings of Earth.
Well, I guess if we had one for who would win, Transformers or dinosaurs, that would sort
We
that
sorted
out.
that out. Well, we did actually have. I went over it with, as in, I skipped over it, but we had Optimus Prime versus King Kong, which was unfair. Because King Kong will get fucked up by the. I mean,
Kong lost to biplanes, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to be
Yeah.
a little bit realistic about what's
Though
going
I imagine
on.
the fucking Godzilla X Kong probably stands a better chance, I guess. He's like way bigger, right?
He's a lot bigger.
Yeah. Even the creators agree Omni-Man wins. Oh yeah, Omni-Man versus Homelander. But the thing is,
I think at this point, I've seen so many people getting mad at like the Homelander versus these people always saying Homelander loses every time.
well, I will back the fact that it's I don't think anyone ever thinks about it. They just instead want to humiliate Homelander because he's such an asshole. They're like, nah, he'd lose. He's a coward. Blah blah blah. And it's like, well, he's pretty fucking strong, dude. Like, and he's got lasers.
He is. But the thing is that like, yeah, because like Homelander loses to Superman.
Yes.
And he loses to Omni-Man. He loses to like he will actually often lose in these situations.
Well, so in his archetype, being basically just the all powers man, he's one of the weaker examples.
He's one of the weaker all powers man. Yeah.
But that should never be the reason why you look at him as he's pretty fucking strong. You know, like broadly.
Well, I mean, he's the strongest person basically in the boys, isn't he?
He is, but of course, again, the boys is like a weird. The powers in that
universe with shit writing. Yeah.
Very shit writing. So shit that people don't even know what the fuck they're gonna do to end this. But I'm kind of glad. Well, I was about to say I'm kind of glad it's coming to an end, but they're already doing another spin-off show, aren't they?
Well, they've got one already, and I presume that they'll keep doing it for as long as they can because, you know, money.
Wolverine gets nuked and then he regenerates in 3 minutes. Okay, so this fight was Batman versus Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine is
round 1 is Wolverine.
Round 2 is probably Wolverine.
Probably Wolverine, yeah.
And then I guess that's their point, is that whatever Batman can muster, Wolverine survived getting nuked.
Wolverine's tough. He's a tough one.
Yeah.
Look up the Hellbat. He fought Darkseid with it. Oh, right. So, yeah, people get mad when you say Batman loses.
Hellbat from StarCraft.
Oh, yeah, because like, Batman does remarkably well against Darkseid when he
kills him, right? With a cosmic gun or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Cosmic gun.
I'm not even kidding.
I believe you.
Something like that.
Batman shoots Darkseid. I'm
well,
sure.
Just they'll have a thing where Batman does a whole bunch of flips to avoid the Omega beams.
Yeah.
You know, he'll just do flips and shit. Meanwhile, Superman gets wrecked.
Super Smash Bros.
I know Angry Joe gets he gets big. Yes, basically, yeah. I know Angry Joe gets really mad about the idea of like Batman beating Superman because we all know why he does. He's more popular. That's why he wins. You want to see Batman beat Superman?
Yeah, he shoots him with I don't know what it is, but he shoots him with something that I don't know. Like it's point being Batman defeated Darkseid, which is like, really? You're like, yeah, he fucking did.
Right. Yeah, he did, because he's Batman. Sorry, Joe. Everybody likes Batman more. That's why he wins the fights all the time.
And I guess DC Comics Ultimate Premium Masterline Batman Hellbat version. So this is what they were referencing with that. Oh, does it not come up?
Nope.
Okay, these are all... No, I'll just take a photo of it. The quick version is just like, it's like an Iron Man suit that looks pretty powerful, I guess.
Right. Well, he's got a lot of tech. He does have a lot of crazy, you know, kryptonite suits and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, you know, we're not counting Batman out ever. He is that good. He's got that Kratos element, right? It's like, hey, you know, he can pull it off. But yeah, tough fights for him. Oh yeah, Rags, what do you think? Doom Guy versus Balrog.
Oh, let me think. Doom Guy has a lot of stuff that he could use. Like, could the Balrog survive a BFG 9000 shot? Well, I'd have to compare what the BFG does to other bosses in Doom maybe as a point of reference.
I doubt it, would be my assumption. But I could be wrong.
He is a magical creature, a Balrog, to an extent.
The thing is that Doom Guy fights,
right?
It depends on what we want to say about, like...
Come on, Rags, you know better than most to say that the Balrog was killed by a sword is a bit of an under-exaggeration.
Yeah. What I want to
it's like it's lightning. It's the sword with the lightning, too.
The thing is that is Doom science fiction or is it science fantasy?
I think
Are
it's
we meant to
science
conclude that there is a logical
fantasy.
explanation, like a scientific explanation for everything in hell, or is there
No, it's
magic?
magic. It's magic. Doom is
Yeah,
magic.
that's
There's
what
like
I'm getting at. If we
rituals
conclude
and yeah, all that.
if Doom Guy is using human technology to kill like magical demons, then like the magic of the
Balrog
Balrog
probably
feels
falls
like it
under it.
might be relevant. You know what I mean? Like that him being magic isn't actually the be all and end all.
Hmm.
Because I think that's a compelling point.
It
Is
would
with the Balrog's got magic like that is relevant. Like I don't
he's got
assume that
magic
shooting a rocket
weapons.
launcher at a Balrog would do anything, but
I
maybe the
feel like
BFG
it
would.
but like would you chisel away his health slowly but surely like a Doom fighting a boss where he has
Well,
to
yeah, to be
like
clear,
it feels like a really good matchup actually.
I do feel like
I
a
don't think it
rocket
would
would
be.
affect it. I just don't know how much. Because, for
Yes,
example, a rocket would affect
yeah.
the shit out of Gandalf, even though he's a wizard.
That's kind of the point. I'm not saying that like the BFG would be like a one hit like instant takedown. I think it's more so that I do think that Doom Guy has a shot at winning.
Oh well, I mean,
I
we
think
left it
so.
to
He'd
chat,
be like a
and
boss
they
in the
voted Doom
game
Guy won.
almost.
I can't remember what we did on that one.
Well, like I said,
I
we
think
left it
level
to
1 and
chat.
2, the Balrog probably has it, but I think level 3, like when Doom Guy is using like his proper arsenal and everything from the games, it would be like an epic boss fight.
Yes, you could easily see a sort of an analog for the Balrog in the boss for a Doom game, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
obviously at that
cool
point,
as fuck.
that it's like, yeah, the Doom Guy could take out that kind of creature. But yeah, I think it is all down to level 2. There's one.
Level 2, because Doom Guy wouldn't have access to the BFG. He'd have like a shotgun, like maybe
Yeah,
the
like a
super
shotgun, a
shotgun.
machine gun, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Prime is like, I didn't have to be like this Kong before stomping the king. Optimus would probably win, and it would be sad. Speaking of Wolverine, check out Logan the Wolf by Godfroy Reichwart with music by Rock Nardin. It's a really good fan film. Fair enough. OpenClassActions.com, Moolah. But something to do with... I mean, we were late into the stream at this point. I don't think we'd be changing up much of anything. We were just trying to get through the heavyweights. Batman fans be like, Batman solos Goku. Yes, they would. They would find a way
Yes,
to
they
argue
would.
that.
Batman fans are delusional, okay?
I'll give him a break that there's a reason for that. Like, the way
Batman
they...
is fucking cool. We all love Batman.
We're talking about
Batman's
cool.
awesome.
I am
let's be
specifically
real,
referencing, like, he will...
okay?
He's got the same power that we gave Rick, where it was like, he will find
Smart.
whatever
Yeah, he's
weakness like is possible for the creature he's fighting, and he will maximize its effectiveness. Like, that is what Batman does. He's a super genius. So, you know, I get why this sort of thing happens. Fringy versus Kermit the Frog. Fringy couldn't do that. Couldn't bring
I
himself.
wouldn't want to be fighting
Kermit couldn't do that.
no.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and Kermit wouldn't want to either. He'd want to play the banjo and sing songs.
We ended up having Doom Guy versus Santa, and a lot of people said they would never battle. They would team up. Like, yeah, well, they gotta fight. That's the rules. Doom Guy is Christian, so he would never hurt Santa. Again, that's just, you know...
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, the whole point of this is that they have to. Not allowed to escape. So many great drawing ideas coming out of this EFAP. Yeah, you know. Oh, we had, Rags, this might interest you. We had Cthulhu versus, Q from Star Trek.
Ooh.
It's one of those ones where it's just like, does it affect him? And I think we edged on yes for Q.
I think Cthulhu wins. Because Q is he's an agent with a mind
Yeah.
who is human-like. He just has extreme, like, he has human flaws and foibles in terms of his personality and everything. As far as I know, Cthulhu's mind powers and everything would work on Q.
Yeah, that's kind of how it worked. Whenever you have to be beyond the universe, this is why Dr. Manhattan was tough in terms of whether or not he gets affected. But I think we did a vote for... for that one. I can't remember exactly how it all turned out, but this is where we were nearing the end, and everyone could kill everybody. Yeah, we even had One Punch Man versus Rick Sanchez, which it's like I think everyone would be inclined to be like, well, Saitama, and it's like, yes,
would
but
he be able to generate a countermeasure to One Punch? It's like, well, I think it was the thing where we were talking about the it's like, how do we square away essentially like the fact that in the One Punch Man universe and storyline he is like he has to be indestructible, right? Like an unbeatable. How does that cross over with like
well,
competing mythology? I think was something we were struggling with.
one of the big problems we encountered with Rick was round 2 and 3. He can just go to a different dimension immediately.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and
well, what do we
Cyberman's
do about
not gonna
that?
really have a means of dealing with that.
Yeah. So it's just a complicated thing. I don't know if we did stalemates at all. So, Fat Man 2020 shows that Santa has a healing factor and can take a few shots. Also, watch Fat Man Free Fat movies, please. Hi, Rex.
Hello.
Perhaps we will.
Maybe.
Howdy, EFAP crew. I'm currently trying to play every game that has a Smash character, and am interested in how you feel about the games I'm playing right now. Kingdom Hearts, Sora, Final Fantasy VII, Cloud, and Sephiroth. I have not played either, so
I don't know anything about Final
I don't know
Fantasy.
anything about him.
sorry.
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell
That's the
you.
best we could do. Saitama is as boring as Superman, but worse. Oh my god.
Damn.
Lame.
Such wrongness. All of that
Yeah.
wrongness in one. Damn. Santa would gift Boogie a coal mine. Oh, that's layered. Because it's like got a family history with coal mines and stuff as well.
Well, he's from West Virginia, right?
Yeah, well, he's said before, it's like a whole thing with his family and stuff. Guys, I think you should Google feats too. Like achievements that each of these people have, maybe? Here's Unicron. Unicron's first fight was with, or at least this one I can see, it was with Dante, Devil May Cry.
Oh, right, yeah.
Unicron is a weaker Galactus. That's not true. At least not from what we
No.
read.
Doesn't seem like it, no.
Galactus got beaten. I haven't watched the entire stream, but I don't know how he's still here, but Galactus isn't. Because the thing you need to beat Unicron is the spark or whatever, right? And the problem for all these characters is none of them fucking have it. Optimus Prime is like the only hard counter to Unicron. I think we figured that out. They needed to be matched up, but Optimus got booted out by something else. The real lesson we learned today is that everything is OP, powerful, and cringe, depending on what we pull from. Good times.
Yeah.
Theo's reaction to Unicron was the highlight of my night, thank you. Yeah, it was extremely funny. We all know that in the end, Garrus will be the champion, of course, and Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Kirby would survive the sun. Kirby beat up the sun in one of his earlier games, and the moon. It was pretty cool.
Beat up the sun, it gives me the same energy as outrunning death.
I don't agree with that necessarily. That's a
I
concept,
guess it's possible.
isn't it?
I guess you could beat physically punch the sun a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And snuff it out through sheer
Well, what's funny is
or something.
telling me in the heavyweight class that one of these characters could punch the sun or whatever. I'd be like, okay, that's not as good as fucking Unicron, who controls like universes and stuff at his will.
Yeah.
Now you've done it, Mauler. Optimus was our one chance to beat Unicron, and we eliminated him. He carries the Matrix of Leadership. That's what it is. And we kicked him out. It's so over.
The Matrix of Leadership.
Yeah, that's like a hard counter for
in Transformers.
Unicron. Would be cool to see a sort of inverse of this, where you get characters from the same world, like Marvel, DC, Greek Pantheon, etc., and try to balance them with each other while still keeping them roughly resembling their typical self. Not sure what you mean exactly. Do you mean like balancing them so that they're all on equal playing fields, so you have to like reduce and increase powers? Yes. Can Saitama reach the Coon's levels of power? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, well, the Coon essentially was able to recruit Cthulhu to be like his.
He was able to. That's true.
Yeah.
Is Moriarty updating the Kirby wiki in real time in response to all the abilities? Maybe. Santa holds Kirby like he's a Christmas bag and yanks everything out of Kirby's mouth. He gets swallowed. Santa's strong, but I don't think he's gonna be able to deal with Kirby's suck powers, you know.
Yeah.
Though we did find out, wasn't Santa like he's faster than the Flash or something?
Kirby.
No, Santa.
Oh, what? It's how quickly he needs to get around, right?
Yeah.
Like it might mean that he actually is faster than the Flash.
Combine any two powerful or scary words like intestine and incinerator. Unicron has it as a power, no matter what it is. True. Should have had Maxwell from Scribble Notes here. It doesn't matter how many universes Unicron's eaten when he has the powerless dead adjectives. Well, yeah, I mean, not every character made it in, and that's just fine. Kirby puts the suck in success. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Can we change the term to inhale? The council has rejected your suggestion. Kirby will continue to suck. I'm mad I didn't catch this from the beginning, but I'm glad I got here in time for Kirby versus Goku. Exactly. Unicron headless at the end of Transformers movie. Yeah, but that's not like why he would theoretically lose in these interactions, you know? It's a little bit more complicated. Unicron is voiced by Orson Welles. He wins automatically. That's fair. Unicron is throwing down with Kirby. The galaxy is exploding. All of existence is dying. And oh my god, it's Boogie with the steel chair. Down goes Unicron. Down goes Kirby. Oh my god. Optimus has been avenged by Boogie. Yeah, we did. Who's the ultimate winner? Unicron, Kirby, or Boogie? And chat voted for Boogie. Son, I don't even know who Boogie is.
I love democracy.
I know. It's made the good ending happen. I've never laughed so hard in an EFAP episode. Thank you guys. This was the best birthday gift I could have asked for. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Very glad you like it.
Chat, no one tell them about JRPG characters or light novel characters that are complex, multiversal, and turn Unicron into fodder. As if we didn't know about the crazy... all kinds of crazy, like we didn't even cover like 1% of Western fiction, you know, like there's it's just trying to hit on at least a lot of what the cast would have some familiarity with, even in passing, and the chat. That's like the goal. The Matrix of Leadership defeats Unicron in the '85 Transformers movie. Well, none of these guys have that. Okay, Kirby's got to go get the Matrix of Leadership.
Kirby's got to go find it.
Jimmy Carter solos this whole list, also Andor good. Well, yeah, fair enough.
Andor is good.
Garrus won. Truly. Garrus lost to Steve legitimately. You got to accept that.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he got knocked out by Steve, and that really annoyed people because Steve eventually got retired.
Yes.
from contention.
Steve is insane. People need to understand. Steve, the Minecraft world is just... It's not the world that you would ever like want to just plop real people into.
No way.
Oh, I get it. You know we're gonna get 3 more of those movies at least, right?
At least. Maybe more than that.
I don't like
I guess that's what at least means.
Don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Steve's McQueen.
Oh god. We have an extinct animal of the day, the Pelagornis, the giant saw-toothed seagull.
I was about to say, was it a giant pelican?
This is an artist rendition.
Oh wow, he's majestic.
Damn.
He is. Look at him go. He even got his friends back there. They're fishing. They're looking for fish who have foolishly swum too close to the surface, too close to the sun. You might even say.
God. Yeah. So it's described as obvious animal of the day, English bulldog puppies. So this would be ample.
Oh, look at him. Puppies and kittens, man. They have a power.
Oh yeah. Adorable factors.
The power. Yeah, that's man.
And Mola, can you sensually say my screen name, please? Turkey Baster. Hope you enjoyed that.
God.
Because that is the end. That's the last one. thank you all so much for sending it in. Apologies for this one being missed, but it's all sorted now. There you are, and we it was a fun experimental stream. Appreciate you checking it out and sending in the donations. We appreciate. I think that's hopefully all the episodes I've actually missed. If not, let me know, and we shall go back if needs be. But yeah, like I said, we've got lots in the backlog. It's all going to be coming out. But broadly speaking, thank you all very much. We'll see you in the next thingamajig.
See you later, everybody.
Yeah, everybody. We will
Bye-bye.
see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.